Greetings, travelers, and welcome to So You Think You Can Quest, the online, live-streamed Dungeons & Dragons-based game show with real cash prizes and precious stones. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, and this is just a quick introduction to Episode 3 of our open beta development process. In this episode, I'm pleased to announce that for the first time, our adventuring party is full, and these new players have been selected from a player roster that is now exponentially larger. Don't forget, if you'd like your chance to play and win precious stones or cash prizes, you should fill out a free, anonymous online application today by clicking the link below this video. Or if you'd like to watch this show live, check out the Twitch link below this video and tune in at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sundays or Tuesdays to be a part of the questing action in real time. Of course, you'll have to continue watching to see who won the daily prize for the evening, and if the players were able to make it through the night and overcome the goblin horde that besets them early on in the game. All of this and more in tonight's questing action, as we also leave our players off with a rather ominous herald of what might be to come and what might lurk yet underneath Hope's rise. Real quick shout out to all of the people who make this possible, and then we'll get going. Thank you to all of the players that have been involved. Thank you to all of the gracious support that I've received, both personally and unsolicited by strangers on the internet, as well as a special thanks to my patrons who are help making this happen. And don't forget, in these first couple of months, I've decided rather than just doing the static 15% to rotating charities, I will be doing 100% of this show's profits and revenues, or any kind of income that it generates. So right now, by signing up to the show's Patreon channel, linked below this video, for the first 2 months, those proceeds are going directly to help the Extra Life organization, who is raising money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And all of our adventurers tonight are also helping participate in building a brand that is also raising money for charities, both now and in the future. So get your health potions ready and sit down, because it's another episode of So You Think You Can Quest. A small editor's note: there was some background music that I had trouble getting to broadcast properly at the beginning of this stream, and so I shut it down, and I've edited around that where it became cumbersome. Of course, this is only maybe 10 minutes during the initial setup and introductions of what is otherwise a 4-hour gaming episode, so you don't miss anything too important. Without further delay, I hope you enjoy this episode of So You Think You Can Quest. We've got 2 new questers today. We will, if you don't mind, just start with a small introduction about how long you've been playing Dungeons & Dragons and kind of what got you into role-playing, and, you know, maybe what you hope to accomplish tonight as far as your questing adventure. I'm going to go ahead and start just going from left to right. That's going to bring us to our new contestant who's taking up the 5th player seat for the first time. We do not have an in-character alias for you, so I'm just going to let you refer to yourself as Player 5 for the time being, or however you'd like to be known as. I'm just not trying to presume. So why don't you start us off as I'm getting this situated with all the name tags. How long have you been playing D&D, and sort of how did you get into tabletop role-playing in general?
I have not been playing D&D very long. I'm actually pretty new to D&D. I've played a few games before, about 3 or 4 different ones. And I've been watching Critical Role mostly. That's how I got into it a lot.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm excited to try and play again. I haven't played in a while.
Okay. I believe then this is going to the rogue. Then this is going to the fighter. You are the cleric. Magic user. Yeah, that sounds awesome. So far we've been able to get the players up to 2nd level, but we've also had our first total party wipe, so the difficulty has definitely proven to be substantial. I'm excited to see what we can do now that we've got a 5th player in the works. But other than that, I'm really also excited to see what that does for the opportunities for the party, both for role play and also the kind of the ways that you'll be able to interact with the game world now that we'll be out of just the four basic fighter, cleric, rogue, and wizard dynamic. Now, I'm going to go ahead and roll and see what our player 5 has gotten themselves into as far as a character is concerned, while our now new player 4, who will be taking over the role of Nehen Vensar, the rogue, why don't you give us a quick introduction as to how long you've been playing Dungeons and Dragons and what got you into it?
I have been playing Dungeons and Dragons for the better part of 20 years. I mean, I started when I was like 13, so I'm 33 now, so yeah, 20 years. Um I don't know, I had nerdy friends and we were like, let's be the social outcasts and play some D&D. So we picked up, 3rd edition books and started playing. We were like, "Oh, let's try the red box." So we played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons and the Gary Gygax version. And yeah, I love rolling dice and killing stuff. So
Sure, spoken like a true Dungeoneer. All right, Nahen Vensar is now in your Roll20 character journal, so if you want to fire that up, that'll be available. And then over to you, player 5. Having rolled, it looks like you will be coming in as a monk for the time being. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you in your character journal to one Warren of the Cracked Sky. Of course, you are welcome to adjust the character art and name as you please. Just let me know what you're transitioning that over to so there's no fault in communication there. All right, and that should be in your journal shortly.
Right.
And I'm going to get a monk frame onto the screen real quick, and then after that, we're questing. Without further ado, we're going to get this started. Everybody, welcome to So You Think You Can Quest, the internet's first online live streamed Dungeons and Dragons based game show with real cash prizes. I'm your host, GM, and one-man production team, Colin Onimus, and tonight we are welcoming 5 questers as they journey to the world of Eidolon, into the Moonwake Mountains, to the far-flung town of Hope's Rise that sits perched atop an ancient valley cliff and overlooks a verdant wood that is cloaked in mist and mystery and known to be dangerous, strange, and beyond explanation to all of the travelers who would frequent it. The Guild of Mazes, your guild, has set in motion an operation to investigate what they believe to be the find of an age located deep underneath the town that may in fact account for all of the mysterious happenings and otherworldly occurrences. Of course, just north of Hope's Rise sits the Cathedral of Ages, thought to be the first physical place that was remade in the new beginning when the 13 ruling goddesses of Eidolon first took hold of the world. Sculpted by the goddess Idala to be perhaps the crown jewel or the central piece in all of Eidolon's construction, many believe that it holds a supernatural and divine significance beyond perhaps anywhere else on the entire planet. As a result, there is no end of explanations for all of the things that occur both in town and the surrounding wilderness. But any adventurer can tell you, regardless of why or how, it seems that this is one of the most dangerous and woe-begotten places in all of Idala. One might try to ply their skills against. The Guild of Mazes has recently realized that the foes in this environment are so difficult, in fact, that they have started sending level 2 operatives. Thanks to the efforts of our players in the past 2 videos, our adventurers now are beginning every session every character at second level, and we will see how far they are able to push the experience cap tonight while also questing towards a $250 cash prize. On top of the fact that there is also a daily prize to be awarded in the form of a precious stone that goes out to any contestant tonight. As they play, they become eligible to earn that prize. So far, we've given away 2 successfully. I know 1 has arrived, and I believe the other one is still in the mail. All apologies on that one. It did go out just a tink late. So, for any of those who are watching and are unfamiliar with this, I am going to put our players through a non-stop series of random encounters and otherwise sort of carefully curated things in this rich, dense environment that I've put hundreds of hours into developing. And over the course of the night, any funds that get raised by the channel or as a result of it, whether it's the Patreon or just any accumulated views or what have you, 100% of this is going to help the Extra Life organization, who is a wonderful group that allows gamers to come together and competitively raise money for children's miracle hospitals. So I upped it from the static 15% charitable donations because just in these first few months, likely we're to operate in the red as I get the player base and the usership developed. So I figure, why deprive a good charity of an extra $25, $30 out of my Patreon account when that's not going to make or break the trajectory of this show? All right. Having heard exactly what this is and gone over the introduction of that, I'm going to do a quick recap of the last 2 sessions just so everyone knows exactly where we are at. If you will join me on the map as I zoom the stream in, on the first session, we approached from the east. And after encountering a child that had been struck blind by cursed glasses on the Bridge of Mists, aka the Endless Bridge, aka the Towering Bridge, aka the bridge that goes on forever, the players were then able to make it to, I believe, this turn in the road. I'm going to right here, before they were then assaulted by orcs that they were able to both flee and successfully turn away. Then at this location, during dusk, undead vampire, literally, bats. It was then in the early morning hours here that they spied, while on the outside of the gates of the town, waiting to be let in with the rest of the merchants and pilgrims and travelers alike, an approaching nova of energy so great that it split the very sky and the dense cloaking mists, illuminating the black night into a false dawn. An almost indigo hue of fire and crackling arcane energy that towered into the sky. Nentin, the wizard, bravely staying behind and nailing a natural 20 perception check, was able to peer into the intense nova of energy at the closest distance before fleeing, and was able to see that there were 9 individual silhouettes carefully illuminated in a negative space within this massive, towering rift of energy. After destroying the land bridge and the southern, or the southeastern approach would be a better way of thinking it, into Hope's Rise, the energy novus and the individuals inside of it seemed to fall with the land into the river and the forest of the valley below, and have yet to be seen from again. Shortly after, the party was murdered by an evil wizard in a graveyard. You know, whatever. Moving on. From there, the party then tried the western approach, and that brings us to our current state of play. After running into a large burrowing mammal of some kind known to be mildly intelligent and hoard small glittering valuable objects, they struck a bargain for a diamond ring that seems to have some sort of enchantment on it, or at least a glyph of power that has been inscribed into it. Its effects are still yet unknown. Then after that, they journeyed to the forward fort, and on their way ran into a kebab merchant, which they believed to be from the realm of Fae. Offering kebabs for those who could eat more than 3, he would also grant wishes. But in simply even sampling the delicious spices on the mystery meat, our initial taster was unable to go beyond even smelling it and placing it near his lips before he was full beyond any compensation. And so that in that way they decided it best not to attempt to try and gorge themselves on this mystical phase, meat from another world, and instead journeyed to the Forward Fort, a location set up by the townsfolk of Hope's Rise in order to set a perimeter against the orcs, who are known to inhabit the northern end of this land bridge here, and the goblins, which are known to inhabit this lake in the sort of southern valley of this land bridge over here, kind of where these cliffs form a natural bridge against the wind. There was some haggling over a shield, and a night spent in an inn where a small bird seemed... Oh, the night was spent outside, rather, where a small bird seemed way too interested in one of the players' packs, but was shooed away easily by an observant cleric in a nearby meditative trance. And that, though it might be a lot of information to absorb, is exactly where we are. It is a fresh morning. Our player group is well supplied. I'll skip the formality of having you necessarily conduct the teleporting ritual and warping our fifth player in, because there's adequate time in the morning for them to be able to overcome their teleportation sickness. And the original questing 4, please now meet your fifth companion sent by the Guild of Mazes. It seems that the rest of you will probably need backup. And a reminder, it is a $250 cash prize to be split amongst the players who are to make it to the center of this town. Thank you. With that, I won't stand in the way of the gameplay any longer. Players, please take it away. Feel free to discuss your sort of state of action, whatever it is that you have planned out. Questions about the game world and the surrounding environment can be conducted in the form of history checks that I can then use to dispense the information that you are capable of remembering when you are going over the dossiers in the Guild Hall of Gathering before being rudely shoved through one of its rickety teleportation systems. Please.
Well, I forgot to do this last session, but I have a mystery box I'd like to open.
Oh, it seems that someone from the Department of Engineering and Extractions has yet to open their mystery box. What is in the box? It seems nothing too out of the ordinary at this moment. As you open it to see, it contains 3 flasks of oil.
Handy.
Okay.
Has our cleric picked up their replacement shield yet?
Yes,
I
as we
did.
closed last session, the guard that was capable of being encouraged to steal from the armory did place it outside, and you guys picked it up in the middle of the night. So you were starting the morning with it.
How did the cleric lose their shield?
It was part of the barter with the burrowing mammal.
Initially wanted the cleric's armor. We talked him down to the shield.
Gotcha.
And in exchange, we got a diamond ring with some kind of rune inscribed. A diamond ring that apparently someone is looking for. Though no one at this guard post, from what we could tell. I think we were going to head out before they started asking questions about false reports of kobolds or missing shields.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I agree.
For no particular set of reasons, but also hurriedly. All right. If you are...
I believe the reasons are bad rolls.
Yeah? Okay, who wants to make the first encounter roll as you set out? And also, it's worth noting that while the fountain at the center of town is the destination for the quest, you are welcome to take any series of detours you think might aid you along the way. It's not like you are obligated to strictly take only the swiftest route as the road provides.
Should just go all over and grind until we're like level 10.
With the encounters we're getting, I don't think we're gonna be able to grant until level 3.
Well, how about one of our new players does an encounter roll?
You, I'm scared to do an encounter roll.
Everyone
the
has to.
Worst case scenario, you summon a necromancer who knows fireball. Well, this is the worst we found so far.
Hey, it's fine. I'm a wizard. We are level 5, right?
Yeah.
No, we're level 2.
2.
What's the encounter roll? I'll roll it.
Oh, D100.
D100. And because this is your first time playing, the way that this works is that you roll a D100, and then I roll a D100, and I take the difference between those two numbers, and that determines basically the first bracket of your encounter severity. Whether or not it will be blanket good, perhaps contain possible opportunities, or all the way down to critical failures where, you know, demons come out of the sky and start picking up your characters and swooping them off to a nest far away. So
I'm game. I'll do it.
okay, go ahead and roll a D100 into chat, please. I make the counter roll in order to basically...
So about those demons.
Well, we got plenty of new viewers.
We got plenty of new viewers. There are plenty of characters in the roster, and there are plenty of players to take the place of these ones should they go down. So let's get into it. It couldn't be a better time, as we've had a bevy of new interest in the show. So, okay. I'm going to open the Black Book of Death and begin seeing exactly what trouble you have landed yourselves in.
Just for future advice, y'all really shouldn't let me make the group roll.
You know, everyone says that. Nobody says that they're the one who should be doing it.
I mean, I don't complain about doing it.
No.
Yeah, I'll do it.
But nobody says that they should be doing it. They just don't complain. That's like the upper limit of it. No one actually is forward enough to say, no, I'm the one. I'll take the responsibility. Blame it on me.
I mean, if y'all are
Rolling
looking
on the secondary variant chart for what exactly everybody has gotten themselves into.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and shift our "You Are Here" token forward on the map.
Be careful, if it's a necromancer, it knows fireball.
Sure, we can. That's always wise advice.
Even worse, it knows necrotic fireball.
I love the quaint
right.
idea that somehow there is only one necromancer, and that somehow fireball is also the worst of your worries. But
No, you see, it's different. It's different in necromancer, but they all share the same character model.
Yep. They all share the same character model. They're brothers. They're octuplets. Yeah. It's a long story. That's why they're all so angry at the world. They didn't get enough attention as children. It's a long story, but we don't have time to get into it as you and your companions begin to set out into the morning fog that you've become accustomed to expect up here in Hope's Rise, so far above the sea level. The fog, sure enough, as you've been told to expect, has a way of lingering and almost following you, playfully mimicking you at times in the distance as if a traveling companion. You've been warned by both the guild and also the extended rumor mill of the adventuring profession that this place is known to manifest all manner of things almost out of thin air if let to go idly unobserved. And as such, you peer carefully into the horizon, over the dark green fields of waist-high grass, and now what are approaching the ever taller slopes of dirt and shale that make up this thin land bridge that you are seeing here. and is the only way that you can really approach Hope's Rise from the west/south. As you begin to notice that the earth is giving way more into stone, but you've yet to leave kind of the bulk of the rock cliff that you are currently on and begin to actually walk across this land bridge that is suspended in the air, you feel a rumble begin to occur beneath your feet, and faster than you can react, it seems that the earth is beginning to shake, and with a boom, 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 you see there are pillars of dirt and rock that begin to shoot up sharply, as if there is some sort of massive concussive force hidden underneath the ground. And quickly you see in a square around you that the dirt and the terrain begins to fall out from underneath your feet. Everybody give me a reflex saving throw. The area of terrain that you are beginning to fall with as it is collapsing into the ground beneath is large enough that you are not going to be able to escape its entire... Oh man, no, it doesn't even matter. I'm not going to finish that description, as everybody rolls a less than a 10 on their dexterity saving throw. So not only...
No,
I forget
wait.
how to do it.
There's one more.
Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm not used to having the 5. I'm so sorry.
I forget how to do it.
Yeah.
I
Um,
did
sorry.
Go ahead and open your character.
Mhm.
Yep. And then I believe you should
I got
just
it.
be... Oh, awesome. Go for it.
But what do I type in? I forget.
If you have your...
No, on your character sheet, there should be a square that says saves. Click the dexterity one.
And it'll just roll it automatically.
Saving throw should be right under your proficiency bonus and where you'd mark inspiration above your skills.
Yes.
Just click the word
Sorry,
dexterity.
I'm not used to using this.
Oh, take your time. It's a first for, I mean, a lot of people who are probably getting into this. This also, I mean, makes great tutorial for the people who are maybe watching this because we signed up for the Roll20Con, this is also a great time to say hello to and welcome to So You Think You Can Quest. We're streaming every Sunday and Tuesday, and don't forget you too can apply to get in on the game.
Where do
So-
I press it again? Saving throw?
Yeah, in the saving throw box, just click the
Click
word
the word dexterity inside.
Yeah,
saving.
there you go.
You got it.
All right, the monk, predictably, is the only one to rally in this situation, and as you begin to feel the earth fall away beneath your feet, you quickly manage to gather your companions and prepare for the descent. How far you are about to fall, you do not know, but soon what was otherwise solid ground begins to feel as thin as air as you fall into a lightless depth. I'm going to quickly prepare the map that you are transitioning to and make sure that it's ready for the players to jump onto. But with that, I encourage you to think about exactly how and what you might have at your disposal, casters, if there's anything that you want to try and get out while you're falling before you land.
So have we all fallen prone?
You will all... One moment. I'm just making sure that this is... There we go. Revealing the appropriate area. I'm going to drop some tokens down, and soon I will transition it over into this new map.
Do monks have slow fall at level 2?
I don't think so, sadly.
I can only bless 3 of us.
Bless
Negative.
isn't
there,
gonna help a fall.
I mean, it might. A little, maybe.
It would have helped before the fall.
It would have been such a good time. Last level up would have been such a good time to get Featherfall, but I didn't. Guys.
Colin, I am going to update my token, just so you know.
Okay, thank you.
Being a rogue, would I be able to use my cunning action to maybe tuck and roll the fall?
If you use being a rogue, if you want to give me a dexterity check as you are all falling, that you're more than welcome to. I am determining the results of your dexterity saving throw losses right now, and
So we have actually fallen off the bridge.
you have fallen into a cave, a very very deep cave.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that was a great roll.
Moving the players over to the map. I'm going to go ahead and center everybody if you want to join me there. In the middle. Okay. You are looking at a massive cavern spanning in basically every direction, except you find yourself up against a fairly sheer and tall cave wall immediately to your northeast right here that goes all the way to the ceiling. Other than that, there seem to be tunnels leading off this way. To the left, there seems to be a massive expanse that continues to open into a much larger cave beyond. There are passageways to the southeast and to the southwest. This cave is worth noting for a few things immediately as you begin to get your wits about you. And it's also worth noting that primarily among that is everybody took 4 points of damage in the fall and then is prone currently when they land, with the exception of Warren, who only took 2 points.
Great, that's only half my health.
Thankfully, it seems that most of the earth that you sort of fell with has otherwise filled in the area that you were standing on. As you look around and you see that there are massive chasms in the cavern floor that go on yet deeper into the foundational rock of this portion of the rise. So if it were not for the very land underneath that had given way and dropped you into this cavern, acting as a bottle cork in this gap here, you may have continued to fall yet further and likely just died thanks to the length and severity of that fall. The other thing that is worth noting immediately as you look around is that to the northwest, you can begin to see what are obviously structures that are made out of felled trees and planed boards. You can see the back of some large banner that seems to be constructed out of leather. It's hung in a way that makes you think that likely on the other side of it there is some sort of writing or otherwise heraldry, because you can kind of see dark stains in the back of it. There is a small amount of light in this cavern being generated both from obviously the massive hole in the ceiling, which is at this point about 50 feet up, it looks like. And then it also seems that there's a small amount of light being generated off to the east here as you get into this area where there are strangely smooth and almost kind of formed and planed looking rocks as if ready to be used in a construction project, intermixed with the other pieces of freshly fallen rubble and dirt. There is still clogging dust in the air. There is an uncertainty to the stone underneath your very feet, and your ears are still ringing. But for the most part, all of you are doing okay.
I think we should check the bridge first. At the very least, get a glimpse at the banner, so we have an idea of who we might find in this area.
I agree.
So
Agreed.
pick myself up.
Yeah.
With a pain grant, yes, I'm gonna pick myself up and use my quarter staff as a walking stick.
I'm gonna just tag along and get up. Or who knows? Maybe I'll stay prone.
Well,
In fact, you find yourself able to get up. and everyone is able to move forward. At the moment, because of the way that this map is, I'm just controlling the fog of war on my end to prevent, because there are some seams thanks to the way that the graphics are overlapping, and I'm just going to keep the fog of war sitting on top of those. So if you're looking at any black blocks on the player or stream side, know that that's basically just the walls or the boundary at this moment. Going into the reveal. As you continue to stare out into the cavern, we go ahead and take a measurement on that as the rest of you get an idea. You also seem to be working your way up the stone steps that lead into this ravine-like area right here that exists. Going
Question,
up the...
DM.
Yes?
Is this map, like, is it supposed to be this comparatively immense?
What do you mean?
Those planks look like they are each of themselves, a single tree, compared to our stature.
Those planks are in fact very large, but it is worth noting that in the reality of the situation, those planks are not necessarily all one piece of wood. Much like the support structures underneath them, in this case, might be made out of a couple of trees that have been otherwise kind of like lashed together. It is a similar construction style, as it is made out of crudely hewn and felled tree that is being used to make the under supports, and then also the planed boards that are sitting on top look fairly rough. It's obviously not the work of expert craftsmen, and regardless of the fact that it's not in a finished state. The banner that you're looking at is in fact that massive, but it is also stitched together out of several hides.
Okay, so I'm not necessarily dealing with giants.
That's actually something I was about to ask. Does anything around here give me an idea of here derby giants?
You're welcome to make an investigation check or a perception based on how long you want to spend answering that question. Obviously, investigation will take slightly more in-game time and might expose you to further happens by. All right, your wizard is going to begin investigating the area for more clues as to what's going on. This is going to take several minutes. The rest of the party, what are you up to in this meantime?
Can I slip around this?
Are you investigating the banner?
Yeah, I wanted to. Can I slip around the banner, or do I have to go on the bridge?
Your companion is just investigating the general area for traces of giants or giant-related things. You can slip around the other side of the banner there. There is just enough room in that 5-foot gap. And then Waron of the Cracked Sky, you were asking about the banner?
Yeah, can we see if there's anything on the banner at all, or is it just a banner without any like text or anything on it?
Getting around to the front, you can see that there is what looks to be written in a mixture of ink and blood, in very, very large letters, words in a goblinoid language. Does anyone speak Goblin?
I do not.
Negative.
I don't.
Nope.
Hey, wizard, do you speak Goblin?
Let me know.
I mean, you let us know if you can speak Goblin.
Do you speak Goblin?
I was attempting to make a joke. No, I don't speak Goblin.
I get it. So that being established,
I will, however, try to copy down what hieroglyphics to what my character would be. I find on the banner.
Okay, you got it.
So, would you consider this cave stonework?
In the cave is definitely not stonework, but like these, what you're looking at right here, this monolith sitting atop of these sort of wooden rollers definitely qualifies as stonework.
Okay. Because as a dwarf, I have double my proficiency bonus. So I'm going to go do a history check on this monolith stonework.
Okay, go ahead and roll that history. And while that's happening, I will explain the results of Kellifin's investigation check. Kellifin, you find, looking around quickly and trying not to dally as you see that this situation could escalate easily at a moment's notice, you do not find evidence of giants. With the 8 investigation, what you do find is evidence of likely many humanoid or smaller like creatures, judging by just kind of the marks and tool size of the way that the wood has been worked and the size of the ropes that are lashing everything together. Past that, unfortunately, with the 8 investigation, that reflects both the freshly changed environment, what with there being several 100 tons likely of rock and dirt just dumped into this area, as well. It's dark and you're panicked, and this is kind of strange. So then I'm going over to Bach Crown Gilder, who's got apparently an excellent history check when it comes to stonework. Bach, interestingly enough, you, looking at the monoliths, are able to tell quickly, judging by the wear, that they are not recently carved. These things likely were, judging by the way that the erosion and just time has sort of worn down the smoothness of these stones, these were probably carved very crudely, maybe several thousand years ago, if not more. And they have sort of acquired their otherwise smooth shape over a process of erosion and like sort of just general decay. And now their movement suggests that likely these builders, whomever they are using pieces that they have discovered here underground to serve as support structures and supplement their building supplies.
Okay.
Well, seems like we're likely dealing with goblins, and from the stories I remember hearing, goblins are generally hostile in this area. Or land, I should say.
Aren't goblins generally hostile in general?
Yeah, probably.
It depends on the tribe, but certain tribes are a bit more hostile than others.
It's not easy being green, guys.
This is true. I've heard that from orcs. Or half-orcs.
You're one to tell me.
So I presume we should keep going then.
Well, we have options
Do
in
we want to
direction.
go up?
Either up
Not.
or right. I think the bridge would
Well,
be
to
a
the
bad
right.
idea. Yeah, I think the bridge would be a bad idea. Right is where there was light, which could mean it's our path to the surface.
Or to goblins.
Well, goblins can see in the dark. They may not need light.
I
But
can
it
see in the
could-
dark. I can see in the dark too, but I would like to see colors as well.
Yeah.
Speaking of, can any of you not see in the dark?
Yeah. Nope. I'm just
I don't know.
human, so no.
Are any of you humans, halflings, or dragonborn?
Yes.
Out of character.
Nahar is.
No.
Yeah, out of character. What race is our monk? I don't think I caught that.
I'm a half orc.
Oh, I
Half-orc.
drastically
Alright.
misaside your character avatar. I am very sorry about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've just so like
That's that means
these things happen in a hurry sometimes. That is a full apology on my behalf.
that's sad Minsk. Poor guy.
well, live and learn.
1 second.
So-
I'll get a more appropriate character token up in just a second while you guys are figuring everything
Question:
else
Are we dealing with low light or bright light at the moment?
out. You're dealing with very low light. Yeah.
All right, I will. You know what? I will cast dancing lights once again, and I am going to make it into the shape of a humanoid, which will casually stroll down this northeastern path.
Okay. There we go. Also, Warren, you've got a much more, I feel like, accurate player token.
There we go.
There you
Oh,
go.
great.
Yep.
Yeah, all apologies about that. I thought Warren was a human.
Nope.
There we go. Excellent.
That's a really cool looking arc.
The frame will have to. I'll change that out in the future to match something a little bit more monk-like. But I think for the time being, it gets the general point of the character across.
It's fine. We're fine.
Excellent, excellent. So you're going to begin to proceed in that direction. How far into that darkness do you want to go before I start revealing what it is that you find?
Well, it sounds like we've got our decoy light source heading up the point.
I was gonna ask, could we see anything when he went behind the tarp, past the bridge? Any further than that, or no?
Past the bridge, what with there not being any lights right now and dark vision tapping out at I think 60 feet. Let me go
I could
ahead.
maybe-
Yeah, there's a
60, yeah.
little bit more that I'll go ahead and reveal. That's a good question. Thanks for catching that. I think that's the opposite of reveal. That's high.
Yeah, sometimes you click reveal and it still does fog.
Yeah, hold on. There we go.
Oh, look. And you'll reveal. Oh, look at that, a dragon.
Now I'll go ahead and move the stream up over so everyone can see that they are exposing a network of thinly supported, like basically ridges of rock atop which whoever is building this is attempting to construct a more permanent structure. It seems that this cavern goes on for quite some distance more, but judging by the way that the ceiling is curved, you think that there's a wall approaching soon, at least in that northwestern direction, judging by the way that the slope is angled. But you can't quite see into the far distance.
The northeast works fine. It's got a stairway, which means it goes at least slightly up.
Maybe head a little bit further in.
Yeah, so we're in agreement and
Did anything happen to our decoy?
Okay. So as you are sending your decoy in, how long do you want to wait to see basically how long?
As we walk, I'm making sure it's always not. Let's make it an even 80 feet ahead of us.
Okay, 80 feet ahead of you. But otherwise, you're not going to like send it out, wait 5 minutes, send it out. You're going to just kind of keep it at a sort of a passive distance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to understand that to better reflect exactly what's going to transpire. I will create a decoy token for you to use. Let me go ahead and grab something. That'll work.
Before we proceed, Nahar will bring up the rear and do it as quietly as he possibly can.
Got it. All right, and then... All right, Kelifim, you now have control over that lovely new elf token that has just dropped down onto the map there. We're adjusting the stream so everyone can see the ravine that the players are about to wander their way into. As your decoy proceeds ahead of you, I'm going to go ahead and reveal some terrain. You get a feeling for the fact that the rock walls that are immediately on either side of you here in this close pinch where all of the players are currently standing open up and reveal ledges on either side, turning this space into kind of a makeshift little furrow or ravine within a larger canyon that opens up on this side of the of this one moment, grab my pointer, of this rock wall right here. So you can start to see where this goes up about 10 feet and then evens out into another sort of area where one could easily stand and walk around, as it is fairly flat and even. You also then see another piece of evidence that these cavern systems are frequented, as there is a wooden sort of crude bridge slapped atop the ravine right here that looks like it's made out of this similar sort of crude but semi-fresh planed boardwork of the bridges in the prior chamber. That, let me make sure I've got the right 80-foot measure. That's only 50 actually. Hold on.
Well, actually, before we go too much further, since this area is only a bit higher, we might want to get onto the higher ground. Would I be able to climb this rough wall?
Oh, absolutely. There are handholds all about this cavern pretty much everywhere. So you will definitely be able to get up that rough wall if you can nail an acrobatics or athletics check. 10. With that is not nailing it, my friend. That is definitely not. That is not driving a nail into a board in the appropriate place. That is some loose carpentry. As you attempt to scale this earthen flank, you find that you sort of misjudge how slick this stone is, and mostly because of the fine particulate that is now settled from the recent explosion. And it has sort of created this loose, almost like kind of powder on what would be handholds. You slip, you fall. With the 10 though, and this being a low stakes kind of scramble up the side, all you do is make noise. Unfortunately, you do not injure yourself or otherwise kind of fall prone or anything like that. You're able to kind of land on your feet, but that does create sort of a scrabble and echoing thud.
Awesome.
Am I able to climb up this way?
So that way, right there, let me zoom the stream in. That way you can climb up to about here where there is sort of a small ledge, but then when you get into this area right here, this pretty much goes all the way up to the cave ceiling, and there really isn't room for a person to be or stand. This is effectively a wall right here.
Okay, gotcha.
So for the ground and the ravine thing,
Mhm.
does it look like there was ever a liquid going through it?
Go ahead. That would be a nature check, I believe, actually. I'm going to go ahead and reveal just a little bit more because of that dancing lights radius. Expand the stream so they can see it. And 16 nature check. It looks like this was likely formed by movements of stone and dirt, like tectonic shifting over time, and maybe some other events. But it looks like what was otherwise solid rock has sort of split and caused these almost porous like ravine structures that you're seeing. And so the kind of the furrow that you're standing in likely is just one of those sort of seams along the fault line that did not entirely split. But it's good that you rolled that 16, as it does give you wonder as to how stable exactly the ground here in this shallow area is.
Well, my worst fear was taken away and then immediately replaced with a new one.
That
Wait,
means I'm
so
doing
how
my job.
So how stable does he think it is?
He doesn't
Not.
know. He just knows that it could be potentially very unstable.
Well, then it
I
sounds
wouldn't.
like
I wouldn't
someone's
risk
gonna
it.
get a boosty up this hill since I couldn't climb it.
Actually, I want to try and climb that hillside.
All right, go
Whatever, just
ahead
to stay on the side.
and take an attempt at it, as you are definitely equipped for the job, being a monk.
Is
With
it
my
Dex
giving
or
them-
Acro?
You can use
before
either to
that-
climb, so it will definitely be probably acrobatics for you, because I think you're more dex based.
And Ninja, before you do, I was gonna cast jump.
Oh, guess jump. Well, we don't even need to climb. It's only like 10 feet.
Okay. So unfortunately the 6 acrobatics is gonna run into the same problem that Erithil did, in which she tried to climb and then just found out that the turf is just a little bit looser right now than originally estimated. You are going to then without harm to yourself, kind of come back down to the ground and look at your party and shrug.
Nahan.
My bad.
Nahan will come up and say, like, gesture that he'll go up.
Okay, Nahan, go ahead and give me your acrobatics or athletics to attempt to scale what is otherwise a very easy. Okay, there we go. Nailed it. After seeing your other party members go first and, really make it easier for you, which is what made this so accessible, Nahan, you are able to skirt your way up to the top of that cliff and get a slightly better look around. Let me reveal some areas here for you. Oh, it did it again.
Yeah.
Gets you every time.
It does, every single time.
Oh, it's still doing it. Hold on. I'm clicking the
You're-
button. I promise you, I'm clicking the
You're
button.
all good. It's all good.
There, okay. I just had to cycle it really quick. Nope. Not having it. It doesn't look like. Reveal areas. That is hilarious.
Try reveal polygon?
Yeah, I'll try that. There we go. That'll do. And there we go. That's a reveal. As you get up,
Misclicked. Luna.
you're fine.
So I'm gonna get up to the top. I'm gonna reach into my pack, pull out my hempen rope. Is there something? Can I see anything that I'd be able to tie off one end at?
There is some loose rock right over here to your left that seems to provide sort of ample purchase for you to hook a knot around. Go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check real quick to just make sure that knot is easily thrown together. Excellent. No problem with that at all. As if a second nature, you are able to put together a slip knot and then extend a rope down to your companions so that they might overtake that wall.
So Nahan is like not speaking because he's not entirely comfortable with the situation, so he tosses the rest of the rope down and then holding the one end, he gestures with his other hand for people to climb up.
Do we need to roll anything for rope, or could we do
At
that
this
automatically?
point, now that the rope is there, it is more than enough for you to be able to scurry up and not need a check. In fact, in the future, it'll be basically just half movement if, that becomes relevant.
All right, I'll climb up and gesture for everyone to follow.
I will climb up as well.
Okay, as you are all climbing up, you hear a voice call out in common, not seemingly addressing you, but talking to somebody else, and you can hear that their voice just kind of cracks a little bit, and the volume slips, and it goes a little louder than intended, and it begins echoing off this cave chamber. I'm going to go ahead and reveal a little bit more of this area. And keep in mind that to the, basically directly east of the party now is where you are seeing the light emerge from. Grab the polygon reveal. There we go. Nope.
I want to make the joke that that the light is default dancing, but I am above it.
Oh man, now even the polygon's betraying me. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Switch to the regular? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Oh man, what is that?
Oh no.
Does everyone have this problem? I feel like I
Yeah,
haven't.
I've had issues where if I click off of reveal and then click back, it'll default to fog. But
There we go.
clicking
All right.
around a bit, it works.
Now, okay, polygon at least is working for me now. So as you get up, you begin to see now coming into clear focus on the opposite side of this high ground is a number of very clearly goblinoids who are sort of thrown into relief by what is the light emanating from whatever it is that kind of is on the other side of this drop right here. As you can see on the map, it looks like the cave drops down about another 10 feet on the side of this little ridge. And you can almost see the tail end of what looks to be maybe a canvas or cloth top of a tent or awning. And now the comment that you hear uttered comes from this individual here who is sort of stumbling forward at the lead of these goblins and sounds rather surly. Make sure I've got my selection. There we go. Just for anyone who was wondering. And you can hear him say, well, this is really bad. I mean, we can't. I mean, this is really bad. We're in the middle of the road. We are way off territory. This is not what we agreed to. And you can hear one of the goblins bark back, I don't care what we agreed to. You're getting what you're getting. We're risking everything for your tunnels. I don't care what you're risking. We are paying you all very handsomely for your explosions and your labor and your knowledge of all of these environments and frankly, your disposability. The fact that you're facing risks is literally what I'm paying you for. And at which point the goblin barks back, risks are fine, but this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna stand here and listen to you, human, talk to me like this. My brothers could gut you in a second, and we'll be eating you for roast tonight. And then we'll have these tunnels, and we'll be running the goods. Why exactly do we need you now? And the human says, I will explain exactly why you need me after you get over there. Over there, he calls, as he seemingly starts to become aware of where it is that the players are coming from. Rounding the corner, seeing the source of the illusionary light, and then also in the far distance, my lovely player characters, whom I haven't had a single stealth roll from.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
And so with that, I'm going to ask everyone to go ahead and break out into initiative. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the way that Roll20 does this, you're going to want to make sure to click on your token before you roll initiative. 1 second, I'm clearing the old initiative. Make sure to click on your token before rolling. Otherwise, I'll have to add you again to the initiative order and do it manually.
Oh, brutal. You took my nat 20.
Well, usually you stick with the first roll. You just, yeah. Oh yeah, he's got us in there, so we can just, oh.
Yeah, I'm not going to take a... Oh, I see what do you mean? You took his
No, I'm
nat
in there
20.
twice.
You said roll initiative. I rolled initiative, and then you cleared it, and I'm like, no.
No, I wasn't going to... So yeah, that 22 counts. Don't worry. All right.
With a human, so is he, and he's like pointing at us, is he doing it like to use us as a distraction or run away, or is he more like a sick them, you idiots?
More like a sick them, you idiots, but you can also well, give me an insight. That's exactly what that skill is made for.
Great at insight with this character.
Actually, that's apparently you are.
Apparently so, yeah.
So, way to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
point out of the park on that one. So, with that, you get the sense that it is a split of your assumption, which is part of it is like, get over there, attack them, you idiots. What am I paying you for? The other part of it is like, this goblin's making a very good point about the fact that this human seems to be outnumbered and bellowing hostile orders to creatures that don't particularly care for it.
Somebody didn't roll initiative.
I'm still in there twice.
Bach rolled.
I'm in
it.
there twice as well.
1 second. Oh, everybody's.
And the bridge is in initiative.
Caliphin is in there.
Does our monk only have 14 dexterity?
Bach. Our monk does only have 14
Again, not all these
dexterity.
characters are optimally built.
Sorry, not all of these characters are optimized. None of them are optimized. They're all in a way like definitely kind of have some goofy aspects to them. I had a lot of fun while making these, if that tells you anything.
I can't complain too much about my fighter.
All right, I'm looking at 5 initiative rolls though, so I think everyone's in there. I'm going to quickly roll my initiatives for the rest of my assailing goblins and get those entered.
I was curious because I didn't climb up the rope yet. Does
Mhm.
the one on the bottom see me
The
at this point?
the one on
The one on the bottom is my light.
yeah, that's a friendly light.
Oh, that's
That's his illusion.
friendly one.
So,
Okay, I can't see it.
whether or not
Okay, so
you are seeing
do they
a-
see me then?
You don't necessarily know, actually. You are in an interesting spot where you can kind of see the tops of the goblins' like weapon points and sort of the head of the human who was talking. But that's all. And being far away and in the darkness down here, there's a good chance they might not have seen you at all. It's hard to say, though, as they haven't really started calling targets or, trying to get specific attention.
I'll whisper to the others as we're
Is there any
drawing
way I
our
can
weapons.
stealth?
I'll whisper to everyone as we're drawing our weapons. Leave the human alive. He might be useful for getting out of here.
On the contrary, I actually believe we should side with the goblins.
All right. Warren, or however you would like to be addressed this evening. Did you get cut off there? Were you saying something about...
Would I be able to try and stealth then if they possibly don't see me?
You absolutely can attempt to stealth. Technically you can attempt to stealth basically whatever you want to, but you are definitely in a position to take advantage of that given your circumstance. Yes.
All right.
All right. So that, though, because we've got into the initiative order, that is going to take effect on you. That'll happen during your turn. Rather than sort of now, because everyone is sort of reacting in split seconds, and the initiative sort of represents your ability to, respond in time. And unfortunately, Warren, maybe you're feeling
Gotcha.
a
I
little
wasn't sure if it
too
started
confident
quite yet.
there in the shadows. What with the 3 initiative that you rolled? So,
It was just because I was down there. I
oh
didn't
yeah,
know.
just why bother getting all worked up over something when no one's died yet? So, all right, I'm gonna make sure the stream is adjusted, but top of the order looks like Nehen Vensar, and we will be getting into this. It's also important to note that our players are now facing real death, so if you're out there wondering if you might get a chance to play tonight, now's the time to start rooting for the enemies in the Twitch chat and see if they can down one of these contestants.
Okay. So the whole lighting issue. Does the dancing lights light up the upper area since it's on the lower portion, or no?
It does, but the reason that I haven't revealed more, because Dancing Lights, I believe, reveals it's 100 foot, or is it 90 foot?
No, I can send it away up to 120 feet, but it's at 10 feet of bright light and then 10 feet of...
Oh, okay, right. So at that point, it is actually... you're basically in low light up here, that given the situation.
Okay. Then I am going to position myself better and attempt to be away from the group and stealth.
Okay.
So
You got it. Go ahead and give me a stealth roll as you use your cunning action, I imagine.
my cunning action, yeah, cunning action to hide, absolutely.
Okay. All right, 10 stealth. Unfortunately, as you move, it represents not so much that you're failing to keep your head down or move slowly. It's just that you're really not sure how well you all have been spotted at this point, Nahan. So as you keep yourself close to the back wall, you feel kind of confident, but also kind of exposed out here. You're not really sure what to make of it. What are you doing for the rest of your turn?
I mean that's action, bonus action, so that is my turn. Or that's my movement. I guess I could use my straight action to move further, so
Okay.
I'll
All right. If you're going to go ahead and adjust your token, and then let me look at your vision line here. You
Keep in mind that dashing, well, that if you want to stealth in the same turn as you dash, you have to roll stealth with disadvantage.
Well, he failed his stealth either way, so.
Well, I mean, you don't actually fail skill checks.
you just
We're
you just
nitpicking.
do poorly. There's
You do as good as you possibly think you can every
Yeah.
single time.
Yep. That's their sort of sinister nature. Okay, so getting a little bit more of that cleared out. You can also now clearly see that what might have been the mouth to yet another cave entrance is in fact actually a land bridge, an arc going over what was once maybe a closed off tunnel right here. And it looks as if the thing is in rough shape. Maybe it was the recent blast or just how it's been, kind of falling apart over time. But as it gets near the center, it is much thinner than it appears here on the map. Keep in mind that right here, sort of at the middle of it, it's only about maybe 10 feet wide, like where you can stand upright. But other than that, Nahen, if that's your turn, we're going to move it on to Arathil.
All right. I'm going to pull out my longbow, line up a shot, and take a shot at the goblin that was threatening to turn this guy into stew tonight.
Okay. That's a 13. That is going to be enough to beat the goblins' AC, as they seem to be only clad in a loose mixture of like patches of chainmail and pieces of crudely formed steel. That 5 damage is going to be enough to cause a serious wound to this goblin, but not enough to kill it. And you are targeting this one right here, correct?
That's what I thought. Yeah, if he was the one that was threatening the human, yeah.
Okay, got it. Let me go ahead and grab that one. I just realized I was in the wrong Roll20 client there for a second.
I'll move up a bit here, and I'm actually going to go prone because I don't suspect they will be making any melee attacks against us this round.
Okay. And he's going to go prone. Or Arthil. She is going to go prone. So you are... But that's your attack, and then you're using your movement to basically lay down where you are. If that's everything, we will move it on actually to the goblin that you just shot at.
He mad.
He mad indeed. As he wrenches the arrow, actually not bolt, from his chest, you can see him spit a little bit of blood, and he goes, I'm tired of this. All right, the rest of you, deal with this. I'm going back to the tent. And he is going to use his turn to retreat down back behind what look to be slightly more armored and intimidating goblins who are standing right behind him. And he is going to disappear from sight entirely as he makes his way around that rocky bend. Looking at his movement, he'll end up right about, actually there. And then from there, it goes from that goblin to Kelifin Silwain. Kelifin, you're up. What are you doing?
Well, my plan of standing with the goblins has been in front of the window, so I'm going to cast Magic Missile.
Okay. On who?
None of the goblins have been hurt yet, and the one that was hurt is out of my range already.
Yes.
So I see a bugbear over there. Let's send 3 missiles over to him.
Okay.
Or them.
You're going to direct the missiles over towards the bugbear. Go ahead and roll your damage on those. All right. That's
I do have a feature that you gave me. If the creature on damage rolls, if the creature is smaller or the same size as me, I get +1 to damage.
all right. This creature is the same size as you, so there is +1 to damage on that.
Wouldn't that be +1 to each missile, or is it to total?
Yes.
Yes.
Each missile gets +1.
Nice. 13.
So that's going to be 13 damage to that bugbear as one after another concussive blasts threaten to knock the creature from its feet as it seems both startled and scared of the condensed arcane energy that seems to move through the air at unerring speeds and crash into it despite its attempt to try and bat them back feebly with the mace that it has in its hand. And you can hear it let out a tortured "Ah!" that reverberates off of the cavern walls, but the bugbear still stands. Its fur a little bit singed and its jaw may be dislocated, but it looks like it will live to fight another round. I'll put a reg damage dot on it to help the rest of you track what has and hasn't been shot at this point. And Kelvin, that's your action. What are you doing for your bonus or your movement?
I'm just going to say, you can still surrender. There is no need for this fight to continue. If you do, you will die. And then I will pratfall backwards because I want to go prone. Because, as somebody said, I doubt they're going to be able to reach us with melee attacks this turn.
Okay. Just like a sloth falling right out of a tree, just arm over arm, just lay backwards in the dirt, as assuredly crossbow bolts are about to start raining through the sky over your head. Kelvin, that is going to move you onto the human's turn. The one that spoke is saying something about tunnels and bombs and all of the various things that are going on in here, seemingly knowing some bit of information about the logistics of this operation. And also, by being a leader, is going to exempt himself from having to deal with this. You hear him throw his hands up in the air with a resounding, "All right, you heard him. I'm like him. I'm the boss. I don't have time for this either. The rest of you sort this out." And with that, he is also going to follow suit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He'll have to use the dash, but that will get him around the corner and out of sight effectively.
Can I reply, are you really going to follow somebody that cares so little for you?
Are you attempting to legitimately persuade this person?
I am trying to get the goblins to cease the means of production, yes.
You're talking to the goblins about this person's behavior. Sorry, I thought
Yes.
I had it the other way around. Go ahead and make a persuasion roll. I can, because you haven't used your bonus action, I'm fine with that being part of that. Seems that they are loyal, or if at very least just bored and kind of blood hungry. I mean, this is just what happens when you spend all day underground in a lightless cave. First thing you see, you just get really excited and you want to go over and murder it. You know, it's just kind of life of a goblin. So with that, that is all of your action economy. So I'm gonna, and also this turn, well, this human has moved outside of the range. We now have a couple of gobos up who are going to kind of look at this situation, not sure what to do, and begin moving around. Yeah, that makes the most sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. All right. That goblin is going to advance, leading the cry. Someone has to be the brave one as he just screams, "Gouge out their eyes! Stomp on their toes! Feast on their innards!" And he, with kind of a rallying clack of his blade against his chest piece, begins to charge into battle, but is nowhere near making it close to the party this turn. Then we go to the bugbear, who is much less seemingly interested in pursuing this party, having almost been knocked unconscious by heat-seeking missiles, and is going to, for the time being, disappear into the shadows, seemingly either to patch themselves up or maybe take a different approach to this whole mess. So that is going to pass it on to the other armored gobbo who is attacking the party from the east right here, and he is going to join his fellow friend in a demonstration of bravery, hoping that it will lead the other more cowardly ones to join them. And he, being slightly closer, is actually going to end up, I think, right 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, he can slide right up to here using the diagonals. So him and his friend are standing next to each other atop the bridge, looking down upon the dancing lights. That is the goblin's turn there. Then we get to Bach Crown Gilder. Bach, you're up. What do you want to do?
Okay, so firstly, I'm just gonna move a little closer to the edge here. I'm gonna shoot at. Hold on, let me test the distance. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna cast Bless on myself, Arthil, and Telefin.
All right. So the three who are just basically sitting there on the upper ground next to each other.
Yeah.
All right. That's some of your movement. That's your bless. So that's your main action. Anything else with your bonus or the remainder?
I'm gonna yell towards the two goblins on the bridge. No, please don't jump down and kill my glowing friend, please.
Go ahead and give me a deception
Please work.
with your bonus action as you attempt to goad.
Man, today has not been a good day for skill checks, huh?
No,
we
no,
don't
it
have-
has not. But it seems like you might be doing all right on attack and damage so far. So you know what? That's always the one that I'll take. But with that, you cannot goad these goblins. It seems like they are too eager to visit violence upon you. And Bach, is that your turn then?
I'm gonna drop prone and cover myself with my shield, and then that's it.
All right, going from there, we go now to one of the other gobbos who is going to, not yet understanding perhaps the measure of the threat before them, charge forward on this bridge. 1, 2, 3. Yep, right behind his friends. And attempt to be the first into battle and maybe earn himself some new and shinier armor like his more brave companions.
Jump.
And finally, that
jump,
brings
jump.
us to the end of the initiative order. Thank you very much, Warren of the Cracked Sky, for being so patient. Your stealth check, I'm going to go ahead and honor that. So that's your... well, actually, hold on. Before you... Because of your level as a monk, that would be your entire action. So is that what you want to do, or would you prefer to do something else at this point, given the way that things have sort of changed?
I would like to try and intimidate them and get them to fall off of that bridge, if possible.
That is possible. What are you going to do in order to sort of startle and intimidate them and force them to maybe stumble backwards from their rickety footing?
I'm just gonna scream with my goddamn orc lungs as loud as possible.
All right, just really,
Away.
really gonna access that the power of a diet of nothing but swamp leeches can give you. So go ahead and roll me an intimidate as you attempt to just otherwise bark these creatures from their footing like small startled dogs.
Apparently, a diet of nothing but swamp
Wow,
leeches
okay.
is
Actually,
very good.
so it looks like given these goblins abysmal rolls, you are actually going to be able to startle the lesser one into falling forward, and he whips too quickly to look at the new oncoming threat, and doing so kind of pivots and loses his footing, tumbles forward. Of course, being a gobbo and it only being a 10-foot drop, he is able to land without taking any damage thanks to a successful acrobatics check / dexterity save. And then the other one on the far side of the bridge also rolled abysmally, and in the startle is going to fall backwards. His save also proving higher on the fall than it is on the actual resisting of the intimidation, is going to see him safely to the ground. But now there are 2 in the lower channel and 1 on the upper ground, thanks to your startling monkish roar. Go ahead, and you now have your main action and your movement still available to you. What would you like to do?
You said before that the floor underneath was unstable, correct?
Likely that your companion had reason to believe. This has not been confirmed one way or the other. He did not roll high enough to know for sure.
Shoot. All right.
You could be the first one to find out, though.
I don't want to fall, but I was trying to get more of them onto all of them onto there at once. Maybe I'll move a little bit forward and just kind of like reveal myself a little bit down there and try and get them to jump down.
Okay. That's movement. You still have your action. What do you want to do with that, though?
I'm not sure if there's anything I can do because they're pretty far away.
You could always
My
dodge
action.
if you don't think you have any attacks. Or ready in action
I
to
guess-
punch them if they get close enough.
Yeah, I guess I'll stand ready if they come close.
Okay. Ready to attack the first gobbo that approaches. Warren assumes a fighting stance. And if there's nothing else for your turn, then we're going to complete that initiative order and go to the top as a couple more gobbos join the ranks. And it looks like oh my god, kind of hot and cold on the initiative right now. It goes from a 6 and an 8 to a 15 and a 17. I'm going to go ahead and get them filed into the initiative as they come carousing out of the darkness, having been alerted by their companions. Nahen Vensar, patiently waiting in the shadows on the other side of the bridge. What is your battle plan now, having seen some of these goblins begin to approach and others being startled from their perch?
I'm gonna unleash an arrow at the one on the bridge.
Okay.
And do miserably.
All right. Nahen, your arrow fires, and unfortunately the goblin is just looking right at you, so he just sort of throws himself to the ground and then picks himself back up really quick as your arrow, or arrow in this case, goes sort of just arcing into the darkness. Damn little creatures are faster than you expect them to be, even when they're wearing all that chainmail and clunky metal about them. So that's your action. You've still got bonus and movement. I see you're adjusting your character on the tiles there.
Yep. Actually, I'll go my full 30.
Okay.
Use my action to, or bonus action to dash, and I'm gonna drop prone.
Okay, you got it. Dropping prone, Nahen, after having fired, it goes to one of the goblins who is going to come running out of the corner with a crossbow in hand and fire with some pretty serious disadvantage at the party. Not really having anything to shoot at for the most part, and also being almost out of range. That gobbo is... Wow, actually doing, but that is a near miss for some disadvantage. A blind shot just plinks right off of your shield, Bach, as you realize that had you not had the foresight of positioning that bulwark and also getting a new one, you might be eating a goblin arrow to the temple right now, and you thank the goddess that that is not in fact the case. Then from there, that gobbo has moved and shot, and we go to Erithil Oak. Erithil, what are you doing?
Half movement, get up from prone.
Okay.
Take a shot at this armor boy still on the bridge
You got it.
with my bless bonus. Does a 21 hit?
21 more than hits. All right.
Much better damage.
8 damage. Not enough to slay this armor boy, but certainly puts a nasty wound in his side as that longbow shaft can be seen sticking in through one rib and out through the other side of him. You can see him looking and kind of spinning around for a second in disbelief of where the arrow has pierced through, and he lets out a cry, but seemingly has missed all of the vital organs, and it's all just tissue damage.
All right, move back a bit more and redrop prone.
All right, excellent. The party is ducking low right now. Arathil, then from your turn, if that's over, we go to the Gobbo who has retreated and was seemingly giving orders. And then we go to another one of the reinforcements who's storming out from around the corner and joining his companion to try and provide cover fire. He is going to, given the situation, actually, he is going to hold his action. And then we're going to go to Kelifin. Kelifin Silwain, you're up. What are you going to do?
That's a very good question. So 8 didn't kill him. How's he looking though?
He's looking pretty wounded. Obviously, if you would like to make an insight check, you're welcome to as a bonus action to try and see, where exactly he is on his health meter. All right. With an 18 insight and a goblin being a creature of fairly conventional anatomy, you reckon by the way that it's huffing and kind of spitting blood at this point and drastically slowed its enthusiasm having taken an arrow to the stomach. It seems to likely be at about half health, you think? Somewhere around there? Maybe a little bit less than half?
All right, in that case, let's get started on the other one. I'm going to send to the two... Are they crossbow wielders or arbalists?
They are crossbow wielders.
I am going to send 2 to the northern one and 1 to the bottom one with magic missiles.
Okay, 2 to the north, 1 to the south. Go ahead and roll that damage, please. Nice. I like that you've got the 1 addition on that. So that damage to the northern crossbow bolt is going to be
12.
9. Oh.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, 9 to the northern one, and then 3 to the southern one is going to be just enough, unfortunately, to split it. So neither one goes down, but both have taken.
I was just trying to get the work started.
Yeah, I took. Well, that's exactly what magic missiles for. Both of them are kind of like forced to, take a step back as they end up getting like almost blown from their feet, much like the bugbear companion. But this time it seems like maybe they're a little bit more ready when they see these sort of streaking bolts of light come hoving across the dark chasm, trying to move directly into their position. And they're almost a little ready to jump out of the way. Kelifin,
and without getting out from prone, I'm going to crawl behind the cleric who has a shield up. Maybe try to do him as a bit of cover.
Excellent. From there, Kelifin, we go to the humans' turn, who at this point you can hear in the distance barking orders, but over the din of combat, it's not immediately obvious what they're saying. Then that's their turn. So we go to Armored Gobbo on the ground. Seeing what has happened and recovering from their sort of immediate shock, they're going to charge 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh man, they are going to make it all the way almost up to the monk, and they're going to just basically sit right there using all of their movement and their dash to kind of look at you and just bar their teeth and show you that they're not afraid of you, Warren. They're going to get you back for making them look foolish in front of the other goblins. And that is that Armored Gobbo's turn. Then we've got... Oh, wait, I think I accidentally moved the wrong crossbow. Yep, I moved the wrong crossbow goblin. That's unfortunate. Well, new one comes in, and they are going to get in line just with their friends at this point and continue to fire. Yeah, I'll just swap their positions, the damage dots and their positions so I don't accidentally get those tokens mixed up in the future. Whoop. With severe disadvantage, this person is, and Goblin not being really, no, it's not happening. It's just not happening. That Goblin crossbow bolt is going wild into the darkness. It's the injured bugbear's turn, and you see nor hear hide nor hair from that creature this round. Then we go to the wounded Gobbo on the bridge, Wounded Gobbo. Let's take a look at his movement options, shall we? We've got 5, if he can make that hop, and then... Yeah, he can't even threaten anybody this turn. Wounded Gobbo is going to 1, 2, 3. He's going to get over to here. And that's it. He's just going to be snarling on the approach, running as fast as his little green legs can carry him. And from there, we go to Bach Crown Gilder. You are up.
So, firstly, I'm gonna get right back up with my light crossbow out and fire straight at the wounded goblin right there.
Okay. Go for it.
You
I
your
forgot to add
bless.
blessed, yes.
Go ahead and add that 1d4. All right, that is going to be in just enough to overcome this goblin's AC
Yeah.
and strike them. Go ahead, roll damage with your light crossbow. All right, that is going to be not enough to kill this goblin, unfortunately, as now they've got a crossbow bolt sticking out of one side of them and an arrow sticking out of the other. It's nothing but battle rage and adrenaline at this point keeping this creature moving, but it doesn't seem to be going down yet. Its ferocity still pumping in its veins. That's your attack. Do you want to make any movement or bonus during this turn?
I'm going to move right here.
Okay.
Sorry about your cover.
As he ignores exactly what the wizard had just asked for and begins to move north. Are you crawling, Bach?
No, I got up.
Okay, as you get up, the goblin that held its action is going to fire at you. And it's going to miss terribly.
I am already planning his demise 17 loads from now.
Sure. I'm going to get you. I'm going to feed you to that Balor?
I'm gonna...
One of the two.
One day, I will cast Wish, and my wish will be for him to be lost adrift in the Astral Sea.
Yep. All right. And then Bach, that is the end of your turn. We've got one more Gobbo reinforcement running out of the shadows, but he's a little knife guy. And this little knifey boy is only going to be able to basically get just onto the bridge during this turn. And then after that, we go to Gobbo on the ground, who I think, due to the distance, is just going to have to join their companion at basically standing in front of the monk and making leering faces and threatening them with the sharp implements that they've managed to fashion out of pieces of metal and rock. And that is going to then transition over into Warren of the Cracked Sky. It is your turn. You have a couple assailants in front of you, and your companions seem to be keeping them busy on the high ground. What do you want to do?
Can you use Flurry of blows on both of them? One on one, one on the other? Or is it on one target?
You can split your attacks however you want, but if you're gonna use Flurry of Blows, it's going to be you have to use them immediately after your attack action.
Yeah.
You just move up.
I'm gonna move forward, and then I'm gonna use Flurry of Blows on one, and then spend a key to do a bonus action to do another strike on the other one.
So actually, you get 3 attacks.
Yeah, so you'll get one main attack. Your Flurry of Blows is a second attack, basically, that you get as a bonus for being a monk. And then if you spend a key point, you'll get a third attack. I'm not saying don't do it, but how would you like to dole out that punishment?
Probably 2 on the one, the blue one. Does that one have armor, right?
Yeah, the blue one is blue because they have a little bit more padding and armor than the other Gobbos around.
Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 attacks on that one and 1 on the other one.
Okay, go ahead.
Do I just roll unarmed, or
your character sheet should have your unarmed damage there for you. You just click. Yep. That's gonna. All right, the first one hits.
I did it twice. Oops.
That's good.
That's fine. So that 18 is gonna hit. If you just click on the text that says "Monk Unarmed Strike" underneath that 18, it'll roll your damage for you.
In the chat log.
Yeah,
Oh,
in the chat log. And then that
Wait,
way, if you
what do I do?
critical, it'll
Oh.
automatically double the dice for you, etc.
Okay, I clicked the first one. I
Cool.
accidentally clicked it twice.
Well, you were throwing on 2 attacks, so that's fine.
All right. So that first attack does 6 damage, bludgeoning that Gabo as you step forward, and he tries to take a swipe at you. And thanks to the height difference, just catches a knee to the face, and you see goblin teeth just scatter across the floor. All right, that's your first attack. You go ahead. I'll make you, whenever people do unintentional double rolls, I don't make them keep the second one. I always make you re-roll just as a matter of like kind of standard practice. So go ahead and roll your your flurry of blows.
And that would just be an unarmed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, better than the first. And bang, a second attack as the knee is followed up with a quick elbow strike coming from the cross direction, getting the goblin going in 2 places at once. He ends up falling to the ground from the cross momentum, and that is not enough to kill him, though, as he manages to pick himself back up and is just almost toothless at this point and snarling. Your third attack, obviously, you can actually dole that out because you're spending the key point to give yourself another bonus action. You don't have to. You can assign it as it comes up. So do you want to use that on the one you've been attacking or the other one?
I guess I'll try and finish off the one I've been attacking.
All right, go ahead and give me another roll. And make sure to keep track of your key points. All right, that 15 is the line, right? At 15, you are able to beat the creature's AC. Go ahead and roll damage one more time. And that is enough. Doing exactly to the point. You get first blood of the night, it looks like, first kill of the night, rather, as with a quick finishing move, then bringing your elbow again down on top of the goblin's head, you see its jaw clack into its chest really quick as its spine just gets shunted down by about a solid 2 inches, and it walks around like a Looney Tunes Frankenstein for half a second before falling over, motionless and paralyzed, dead.
I feel kind of bad.
Oh, that
This
was
is what
awesome.
happens when
violent.
you're a trained martial artist fighting creatures of half your size.
True.
That's freaking great.
True.
But
I mean,
I'm
we're
sure
attacking out
you'll
for it.
feel less bad in a moment as the goblin swarms are beginning to mount. And while this first turn may have definitely gone in the favor of the party, we shall see what happens. Warren, those are just your attacks. You do have movement left at this point. Though, of course, to disengage with this goblin would trigger an attack of opportunity. Are you just staying still?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna stay still.
Okay, keeping engaged and preventing the goblin from getting a free attack, Warren instead turns her attention to her next foe, steely-eyed and sure of herself. And that is going to take us to the top of the initiative order, which is then going to herald the arrival of one more Gobbo into the order, but also, more importantly, a new human. As you hear someone call out, this time, clearly a much more kind of lighthearted and almost enjoying voice say, "Oh, this is fine. I'll get it wrapped up in a second and we'll go back to business as usual. Everyone's just crying and crying. Leave it to me. I'll be fine. I mean, how many of them are there? Fine. It'll be quick." And with that, I've added a couple more turns. It looks like she is going to be coming in at, I think, one moment, only an 11 on the initiative. And then that new Gobbo Archer is coming in at a 4. Not doing too hot on that one. So, Nahan, it looks like you will still be reigning at the top of the initiative order. It is your turn. I'm going to zoom the
As-
screen out and pan it over to you. You've got an approaching Gobbo armor boy who is badly wounded and honestly kind of hoping to die at this point, but really just seeing the mission through. What would you like to do?
Well, hearing the punches land from below, I'm interested to see what's going on down there. So I'm gonna stand up, use half my movement, use my my cunning action to dash, and I'm gonna get myself over to the ledge.
Okay.
And I'll move. Seeing my compatriot engaged in combat with Filthy Greenskin, I'm gonna unleash another arrow. This time at the one next to, and I'm sorry, I'm awful with names. Warren.
Warren.
Pray for the best.
12. Unfortunately, that is not going to be enough.
Brutal.
Okay. Bonus action movement. If that's your turn, Nahan.
There wouldn't happen to be any kind of bonus for having high run, wouldn't it?
This isn't Baldur's Gate 3.
Unfortunately, there is not.
Well.
Not at second level. There isn't.
Yeah, not at second level. You aren't skilled yet enough to take advantage of having someone's head be easily visible. So, Nahan, if that's your turn, I'm going to pass it over to Gobbo in the mid, who is going to that's accidental selection there. Gobbo is gonna move himself forward to right about here and hold their action, and then we're gonna go to Arathil. Arathil Oak, is your turn. What are you gonna do?
Well, since this guy's still charging at us, I guess it's on me to attack him. I will get up from prone and probably take a shot.
Okay, go for it. I'm gonna zoom the stream out, make that a little bit more visible. Go for it, Arathil.
Okay, I'm not prone, and then I will fire to finish off this charging Gobbo.
All right, as you get unprone, it looks like that might be the first real Gobbo ranged success of the night, as the held action strikes true. And Arathil, it looks like that nasty. Okay, 2 damage. Looks like 2 damage. You're taking 2.
Glancing blow.
Glancing blow as the goblin's crude sort of warped wooden stick that it's firing out of this broken crossbow is just not really the most dangerous thing in the world. But go ahead. I see that. Roll your... There you go. That's going to be enough to certainly lance this Gobbo. And oh my god. And putting it out of its misery, this third arrow ends up landing center mass and striking it so hard that the goblin just gets pinned to the ground, quite literally, and bleeds out seconds later. Arathil, that's your attack. That's a little bit of your movement to stand up. And then what else are you doing?
I don't like the sound of whatever is coming. So I guess I will move over here, and go prone once more.
Okay, using... hold on, it costs 15 to stand up, and then...
Yeah, going prone is free.
Going prone, sorry. And just making sure that you are appropriately using your movement. And
I think I only moved 15.
Yeah, you're totally fine. So, Arathil, if that's going to be your turn, we go now to this is the Gobbo leader, or at least the de facto Gobbo leader for the moment. His turn is going to pass without incident, as you're unsure of exactly what that little vicious bastard is up to. And then we're going to go back to one of the wounded crossbowmen, who's going to advance a little bit, get to right about here with his other gobbo friend, and also hold their action. Then we advance to Kelifin Silwain. Silwain, what are you doing?
As self-appointed mob cleaner, I will use the last of my spell slots to. Question: is the armored goblin to the north?
He is dead. I'm marking him off with an X as we speak.
All right.
There you go.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm gonna use my last spell slot to cast Mike Missile.
Okay, magic missile. And how are you distributing those missiles?
Good question. I am going to use it to. I believe the southern one was the one most damage, right?
Yes, more or less.
One to the south, to the north.
One to the south, two to the north. Go ahead and roll damage.
Same configuration.
Please. I'll take the first one that rolls to the south, and then the second two I'll take to the north. All right, 3,
Ooh.
5, and 5. All right, the
Ooh,
one to the
that chunky damage.
the
Wait,
one to the north is definitely dead. The one to the south,
question: did it take both missiles to kill him?
yes, it does take both missiles to
well,
kill the one to the
bummer.
north. So the one to the north, basically both of them, the one to the south survives, but barely. I mean, they're just burned all over their body. You can tell that they've got probably broken bones and concussions from the blast. And the one to the north is in that state after the first missile hits. And the second one just all but is like a large club just striking this creature down. You see them wilt to the ground and even get blown back about 5 feet, kind of falling from the bridge a little bit onto that more kind of like rough cliff clearing area there. And that's
Of course, I don't want to overrule your flavoring, but I have come to a realization, and this was something that me and my friends came to a realization of. Force damage might actually be disintegration damage, because disintegrate the spell actually does force damage. So I'm basically with that in mind, I would basically be blowing holes through their flesh.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of how it works. I mean, I definitely just kind of like to have fun with the spell descriptions as I go for kind of like the thematic sake, especially because like realistically, I don't imagine that magic is always going to like kind of perfectly have the same effect each time. And so, you know, you might find that, as we've kind of even talked about in previous episodes, that I'll use rich flavor to describe what might even be otherwise simple spells, just because maybe that one was particularly ostentatious at the time. Like mages kind of have a little bit of more thematic leeway in order to kind of accomplish their given tasks. But definitely noted. Kelifin, that's your attack. You've managed to almost kill 2 goblins. You haven't used any of your movement. Are you just going to chill down there on the ground and keep sniping?
Question: would you use advantage to range spell attacks for being prone?
Yes. Because you're
Okay.
still kind of hurling the spell.
All right, so I can't grab my my quarterstaff like a sniper's rifle and shoot firebolts.
No.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, not yet. Not at this level.
Okay. In that case, I'm just going to move 5 feet closer to the lead.
Okay. And if that's your turn...
That's going to be my turn, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and grab a hold of... That's the human that stormed off. They are still doing things off screen. But now we've got the other human that you just heard, and she is now storming on screen, stage right. As she begins to emerge from the darkness, you can see she is wielding 2 scimitars in her each hand, one in each hand, and she also has strapped to her back what look to be a quiver of javelins. She has what is otherwise fairly long hair that is pulled back, and most notable of her attire is what seems to be a custom engraved breastplate of fairly fine craftsmanship. Whether or not it's of anything extra normal, you can't really tell, but it's definitely fine steel, and it seems to almost have kind of a mirror-like shine down here in sort of these shimmering underground depths. You can see she has a look on her face of someone that is unfazed by this combat and almost excited to have a chance to maybe stave off their own boredom. She walks.
She sounds like she has all the hit points.
Yeah,
She sounds like a barbarian.
1, 2, 3, 4. After having appeared on screen, for those who are watching and can't tell the gray blocks apart from each other, right over here on the eastern side, she is then going to survey the battle and disappear around the other side of that land bridge into the unobserved terrain. Where exactly she ends up, you are unsure. And then after her turn, we go to dead armored Gobbo getting trimmed from the initiative. We go to injured Bugbear, who is going to make a return this time, now coming up and climbing over this ledge over here. But you can see to the south, this Bugbear is now wielding, it looks, a crossbow that they seem to have grabbed from one of the nearby tents, and is going to attempt to fire at the monk who is down below and just struck down one of their mob. And it's not going to be successful as the shot goes wild, but barely, almost grazing the flesh of Waron, as a clear reminder that perhaps maybe soon there is more to follow, and that her position may be untenable. 1, 2, 3. Then lastly, we've got now this Gobbo, our crossbowman, who is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to step forward, and no one is standing right now. Everyone's hit the dirt. So
Except for Nahan.
Except for Nahan is standing, yes. And given the fact that he doesn't want to accidentally shoot one of his friends, Nahan, you're getting shot at, I think. That's the plan. And the roll is high. Nahan, you are getting shot for, that's going to be 6 damage total as the bolt digs into the kind of gaps in your leather armor and goes surprisingly deep. The vicious, sharp little wooden barbs on it digging into your muscle.
Ouch.
Ouch, indeed.
Ouch, says Nahan. Ouch indeed. And then from there, we go to other armored Gobbo, trimming him from the initiative order. Then Bach, Crown Gilder. Bach, what are you doing?
Well, I'm going to cast Guiding Bolt on which one? Yeah, okay, I'll cast it on that one, if that's what you're recommending.
Okay. Guiding Bolt. Go ahead and give me that ranged attack. Oh.
I forgot my bless again, but it would have been a maximum of 14, which I don't think hits.
Go ahead and roll. Which I'm going to say, if nothing else, then to just conceal this creature's AC. 13. All right, that is not going to hit, unfortunately.
Sad.
You summon together a patchwork of celestial energy and harness it into a single, almost spear that you can hurl across the battlefield. But unfortunately, this Bugbear has already learned its lesson about standing in the way of brightly glowing objects being hurtled across this ravine by the party and dives out of the way. That's your action? You've still got your bonus and your movement. What would you like to do?
Yes, I'm gonna run right over here.
Okay, there are currently no held actions on behalf of the Gobbos, so you're safe for the moment. And that's it.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. From there, we go over to the gobble on the bridge, who's bloodthirsty and likely still just, so close. They are so close. This gobbo is going to only make it to here with their movement, so they're going to dash to put you in threat range. So now you'll have to disengage in the future. And after that gobbo, we are going to... Oh, yeah, one of the ones who joined us this particular initiative order with the woman who has dipped out of sight. And this gobbo is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Going to move here to the center and then hold their action. We've got now Gobbo on the ground with Warren engaged in a vicious melee, and it looks like, man, I'm not having the best luck on behalf of these goblins, I gotta say. I mean, part of it's the whole like goblin and they're fighting with patchwork sticks, but they're really not bringing their like A game or like capital G game tonight. So that's it's gonna be another miss as the goblin pathetically swipes at the skilled monk, trying to catch them with their crude dagger, but it's not happening. And then we pass on to Warren of the Cracked Sky. Warren, it's your turn. What would you like to do?
I would like to take the dead goblin and slam it into the alive one, trying to get the alive one into the wall.
Okay.
Classic.
Sure.
Beat the motherfucker with another motherfucker.
It's classic.
Oh, you just used both of our F words for the week.
Yep, that's all of them. That's all the F words. They're gone.
Well, good thing that next week is tomorrow then.
Yep. We'll have
Would
to.
it be an unarmed attack?
That would be an unarmed attack.
Roll.
Please. And.
Ha!
Oh man. Okay.
So there is no more goblin.
As you pick up that goblin, you manage to grab it rather quickly by the feet and using it as in just almost like a whip, just catch the right momentum that this goblin's kind of sharp claws end up stabbing into his friend's neck and face as you just pummel him with the corpse of his fallen companion. He is not going to die from that attack alone, but you can see just as you're beating this goblin who's attempting to stand up that just bones are breaking, they're bruising quickly, their eyes are swelling shut, and they're just screaming, and it's
Savage attack also be able to be put on that?
Oh God.
Yeah, if you want to. I mean, I can't think of an attack more savage than beating someone with the corpse of their, former friend.
Okay. Well, then that just adds 9.
All right. Savage attacks, adding 9 damage. It is easily outside of this goblin's health pool, and you are just going to keep hitting him until the noise stops, basically. And as finally it goes from just this indignant, like, and finally just becomes, and then it just stops. And you are left now still holding the ankles of the armored one, who's admittedly kind of lost some mass from the blood loss, but thanks to all the straps and pieces of chainmail, there's still some heft here.
Perfect. I think I'm just gonna keep a hold of this goblin for a minute.
All right.
Just stay there.
Warren, that sounds great. From there, it is the end of your turn, and we are also now at the 2-hour mark, which for those of this who, it's your first time through, we like to take a quick break right here to allow players to get water, use the restroom, maybe get a quick snack, just to deal with any real-life situations that may have arisen in the last 2 hours. And we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes, kind of just depending on how quickly we can get all of that resolved. If you've joined us since we got started and you missed the intro, welcome to So You Think You Can Quest, and remember that the players you're seeing right now are questing for real cash prizes, real precious stones from my cloak pocket, and also helping to raise money for charitable foundations that are helping out children in need. And the best part is unlike every other D&D stream out there, you can be a part of the action by going to soyouthinkyoucanquest.com and clicking on the Get Started button in the dragon's mouth. You can fill out a free anonymous online application and get involved in the next quest game that happens at this point, it'll be Tuesday at 6 p.m., and have a chance to win your own prizes and also show off in front of the rest of the internet as obviously the greatest adventurer that has ever lived. And in the meantime, there's only one question to ask. So you think you can quest? If you're hearing this, it means that you're not watching this show live when all of the action really takes place. Be there on Sundays and Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and be a part of the action and see if our heroes make it through the night, or even be one of them and go home with glory, cash prizes, and precious stones as proof of your victory. So, you think you can quest? We are back. Thank you for enduring through that small break for those of us who still have mortal bodies and need to nourish them with things like water and rations and sleep and love. But all of those things aside, all of our players are ready. We are at the top of the initiative order. If you're just now joining us, this is a live online Dungeons and Dragons. Obviously, it's online. Who am I talking to? Dungeons and Dragons based game show with real cash prizes. I am your host. These are currently our 5 contestants, but remember, if you'd like to play, don't forget to go to soyouthinkyoucanquest.com and click the Get Started button to fill out a free anonymous online application. And without further ado, we join our adventurers as they, on behalf of the Guild of Mazes, are trying to establish some sort of presence in the town of Hope's Rise and continue to be waylaid by its dangerous wilderness and the things that inhabit its far-flung fog and misty rises. So, we started at the top of the order. You guys are doing fairly well. Or sorry, rather, everyone. You guys is not the term I'm trying to use there. Everyone here is doing pretty well and has been rolling high on both their attacks and decent on their damage. We left off with probably what is the highlight so far of the evening and the first significant critical roll, where Warren has managed to bludgeon one of the other goblins to death using one of its recently slain friends that she pummeled to death not moments ago. And then using her orcish ability of savage attacks really cemented the fact that this was going to be a fatal corpse-related beating, and pummeled that poor Gobbo into a state of death. And with that epic display of triumph, we are then going to pass it along to the top of the order with our resident rogue and first-time player for the evening, one Nahen Vensar. Nahen, you have the run of it. What do you want to do with your action economy?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pop another shot off. I mean, they haven't been doing me good so far, but I will continue to try.
Remember, you're taking the low rolls so that other people don't have to. It's
Yeah,
a critical, necessary position.
Absolutely. My dice are the cursed ones, and I am giving the benefit of good rolls to everybody else. Yeah. So, I am going to shoot towards the goblin that is in melee range of my compatriot up here.
Okay, I'm gonna scroll the stream up. The Gobbo on the bridge there, who is threatening one Bach Crown Gilder.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Gotta
Make that
Bach.
attack roll.
Nice.
17. That is definitely enough to hit an unarmored Gobbo. Go ahead. Roll damage. 4.
Oh my god.
That is not enough to kill an unarmored Gobbo, however, as that goblin will survive your attack. Your short bow arrow instead just piercing its calf. And though the wound sort of spouts quite a bit of blood, what with it just being mostly tissue that you've struck, this is definitely not a mortal shot. And
Nope.
Nahen, that is your action. Are you moving or using your bonus in any way?
I'm not using my bonus. Well, not currently. I am going to move, but first I'm going to drop prone.
Okay, you got it.
I'm going to roll over to here and attempt to hide.
All right. I like all of those actions. Go ahead and give me a stealth check, please.
Yes, sir.
All right. Not the worst stealth check as you attempt to sort of fold your leathers and the fabric of your traveling cloak into the seam of where the rocks meet the floor of this plateau. You try and make it appear as if you are just another darkened corner. Whether or not you are successful remains to be seen. Nahan, I believe that's all of your economy, so without further ado, I'm going to pass it along to one of the goblin crossbow wielders. Crossbow wielders. All right, there we go. That crossbow wielder is going to... Man, all right, now we're starting to make some progress. Roll very high, and Warren, now that you no longer have a warm body obscuring you, you are, it seems, going to be the recipient of a crossbow bolt that does... Oh, max damage for this gobbo is going to be a total of 8 as this crossbow bolt pierces the soft tissue of your solar plexus. Warren?
Yep, I got it.
Okay, you got it. Are you still standing at this time?
I am.
All right, excellent. Standing strong. Then after that attack, this goblin doesn't really have a better place to be. He's very happy up here on his little vantage point. We go to Arathil Oak, our fighter for the evening. Arathil, what are you doing?
Getting up from prone and trying to finish off what the rogue started and attack the one that's attacking our cleric.
All right, with a longbow shot. All right. And thanks to that,
Sick 'em, boys.
you go ahead, roll damage. 6. That is going to be enough to murder that poor goblin who I forgot to put a
Nice.
damage dot on, and is going to go ahead and graduate to the biggest damage dot of them all. And
Yes.
that goblin falls to the ground, this arrow going underneath its collarbone and coming up out of its shoulder blade, piercing through the brachial artery. It dies in a matter of seconds, its blood pumping straight from its heart onto the floorboards around it at a savage pace. That means you can move if you would like, or use a bonus action. How are you feeling, Arathil?
I'll move up a little to sort of try and draw fire.
Okay.
Move too far because I got up from prone since our squishier members are getting hit.
Yep.
I would still get prone because I don't want to, actually get hit. But I'll call, that's another one down as I try to get their attention.
All right.
And then drop prone.
As that happens, I believe, let me check. Wait, no, none of them have had the chance to hold it. The order's clean on that. They don't
Yeah.
have any current
They've had
snipes
standing
pending.
targets to shoot, yeah.
Yeah, so you are safe for the moment. You've called out your taunting bluff as any proper adventurer must. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, we go to the Gobbo leader, still out of sight. But now you can hear him calling, "Yeah! Up the ladders! Up the ladders!" Whatever that means. And from there, it's going to go to our Gobbo who is dead, and he will be pruned from the initiative. Now we go to the Gobbo to the... Actually, no, we go to Kelvin Silwain. Kelvin, you're up. What would you like to do?
That's a good question. I am sure we're going to get over around at some point, but for now, Kelvin is going to get up from prone.
Okay.
And then he's going to cast Firebolt at the hurt crossbow wielder.
Okay, go for it.
It'll be at
That
22.
is definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage with
Alright.
that firebolt. conjuring arcane energy into a red-hot spike that is the focus of your intent. You hurl the thing through the air with practiced ease as it drills a hole into the goblin's chest that fills the cavern with a smell of cooking flesh and a noise accompanying that, is basically screaming goblin. But I won't replicate that here as we all have eardrums. But he's really, really upset.
I am going to, as I'm standing up, I'm going to say, "Is this what you want? For you to be sent to the slaughter like lambs or pigs? They don't care about you. They will never care about you. You're slaves to them. Rise up. Do not let them send you more. Do not let them send you to die more in numbers, because we will kill you, and they will laugh at it."
Are you trying to persuade or intimidate them?
Whichever gets them to stop shooting at us.
Well, that's up to your best judgment. I can't inform you as to that one. So, what will you attempt to? Are you earnestly trying to appeal to these goblins' own sense of survival? Or are you merely trying to let these annoyances know that should this continue, things will start getting mean?
I'm going to play to my character and let them know and let them know that they have the option to not obey these people that are sending them to the slaughter. So that will be a persuasion.
Go ahead, roll that persuasion then, please, as you attempt to maybe curry some amount of favor with these goblins. Oh my. Okay, so for those who might be unfamiliar, I'll start off by saying that I treat critical failures of attack rolls or skill checks as a bit more exceptional than that of traditional 5th edition, and I have a variant table that's custom that, based on the situation and based on kind of the severity of the check at hand and its importance, a number of things can go wrong. Where on the flip side of that, the other thing that I like to honor is that a natural 20 is a success. Even in a situation which would otherwise, not be even thinkable, it represents almost a certain amount of fate and story that has stacked up and is now unfurling unbeknownst to the player's eyes. And as you roll that 21 persuasion with your bonus action, you can hear the goblins here in the center of the chamber by the bridge begin to quickly... They already killed the other ones. I mean, what are the odds? No, I mean, there's more of us behind. I mean, what are you going to do? And then quickly one calls back, after this, can we go home?
So long as they don't give... If you don't attack us, we will not kill you.
I don't want to eat worm-filled apples anymore in a cave. I want to go back to the forest. I want to see my kids again. And
then help us liberate
that,
you. And
you are going to manage to turn the loyalty of 3 of the central goblins. I will go ahead and mark them accordingly with green dots so that you can see exactly whose loyalties it is that you've swayed. As they begin to turn around and look behind them in the darkness, they call back to you. They say, "There's a bunch more coming. You gotta get out of here."
Oh, that's a good option then if they're saying it.
I will obey them.
All right,
But
guys.
Jonathan, that is the end of your turn, as that's basically, the upper end of 6 seconds, obviously.
Could I have my movement?
Right. Where are you moving?
I'm gonna move down and then try to slide on the rope.
Okay. That triggers no check at all, but it is half movement to go down that rope. So, 1, 2, 3. you will actually only get about, you'll be halfway down, and you'll still be holding on and kind of walking your way down the cave wall in sort of mid-stride when we break over to then what is the leader of the humans, or at least, sorry, that's not true. The human you saw initially is going to become much more audible, and you can hear him say, I swear, if those little cowards turn around and start firing crossbow bolts at me and the rest of my people, we are gonna butcher everyone in this cavern. Do you understand me? You get your people in order right now. But that is going to be the end of that person's turn, as it then transitions over to the, well, speculated barbarian at this point is what it seems to be, as she is going to make her way around the corner of that, and 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3, she is going to be able to, using her dash and just lining up that movement, get all the way into neighboring proximity of Bach. And then at that point, Bach, she is going to use one of her class abilities in order to try and attack you. But fortunately, her attack falls to the wayside as it bounces off your shield. You see her coming from a mile away, and even though the swiftness with which the scimitar weaves through the air and strikes off your shield does kind of startle you, you are fortunate that your reflexes have managed to save your life once more, and this shield is just coming in so handy. Imagine if you'd traded it for that diamond ring and not gotten another one. All right, and that is her turn for the moment. Then we go to the bugbear, who's seeing that Warren has been badly injured by one of those crossbows, and that 3 of those goblins are seemingly betraying the ranks. This bugbear is going to try and get immediately out of the line of sight, is going to use an act. Oh, the bugbear is going to try and quickly skid down the side of this slope here. I'm going to adjust the stream so everyone can see what's going on. And coming down this, what is only, it's like a 10-foot drop. I mean, come on. It's going to catch its feet on the rough stone walls and fall prone, taking a small bit of damage, not enough to kill it, but certainly enough to wind it. And then it's going to spend the rest of its movement standing up. And that is about that. Okay, it can, it can't attack. Well, it's got its crossbow, actually. I take that back. It's got its ranged option. So it's going to shoot at you from 10 feet away. Warren, it rolls a 17. Plus that is going to be 5 damage from that crossbow.
All right. Barely standing.
All right. Warren is keeping it together, but still enduring. And from there, we move over to one of the gobos who has managed to be swaying onto your side, and seeing that you are in trouble, is going to attempt to successfully almost kill that bugbear as it takes a crossbow bolt to the shoulder and moans. As you can see the tip of the little wooden projectile poke out through the front of its chest. But that is that goblin's... Actually, no, he's going to cross 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to get into the middle of the bridge to kind of hopefully create a little bit more of a choke there. Then from there, we go to Bach, Crown Gilder. Bach, you are currently being pressed by this warrior who is using both blades to keep you from, effectively moving away without being cut apart. What do you want to do?
Get out of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna disengage.
All right.
And I'm gonna absolutely book it over here.
That's your action. That's your movement.
And that is it.
All right. With no bonus to speak of, we then go to a dead gobbo who's getting trimmed from the initiative. and then a friendly Gobbo who you see move back onto the bridge, and then... Ooh, tough choices, but gonna fire at the... Ooh, nicely spent resource there. You're gonna get a hell of a crossbow shot from that goblin, and he is going to draw first blood from your new well-armored assailant as she catches a crossbow bolt in the side that slips between the gaps of her front and back plate. Go ahead and pop a damage dot on her, and that is that crossbow Gobbo's turn. We've got Dead Knife Gobbo, who gets trimmed from the initiative, and then here we are at the end of the order again. Warren of the Cracked Sky, still standing. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna go around and try and just kill this dude over here.
All right, badly injured. Now at this point, veteran bugbear assailant. Go ahead, roll your... Oh, that is not going to be enough, unfortunately.
Okay. Can I then use the flurry of blows to try again?
Yeah, I believe you can.
For the record, you can use your martial arts. That's just your regular bonus and another attack. And then if you don't, and then if you feel like you need to more, then you need then you can use your flurry of blows with one.
Yeah, you get one.
Okay.
Yeah, you get
attack.
two
I can do
attacks
that.
as per regular, and then your flurry of blows is spent with your ki, chi, kui, kui, however you would like to,
All right. I'll use martial arts then and try again.
All right. Martial arts. That 13 is exactly this creature's armor, as it is wearing more or less just kind of hides and leathers. And that 7 is going to actually be enough to kill it.
Very nice.
Well done, Warren.
Thank God.
Proving her worth. I mean, this monk is actually, for not being like the highest DPS character present, definitely hurt, like issuing out the pain. The bugbear, obviously upset about the new crossbow bolt placed into its back, is kind of grasping at it, and in doing so puts its weapon aside for just a second and creates a vital opening. And stepping into his guard, you strike him first in the solar plexus, then in the neck, temple, and then with a quick finisher again to the side of the head, he goes down unconscious and unable to rise, will surely bleed out in a number of moments. So that's your attack and your bonus action. You have your movement left. What would you like to do with it?
Is it possible to take some bones off of them and back up?
Bones?
Or no?
As in like their bones.
Yeah.
Not really. Mostly just because all of your damage has been, for the most part, like bludgeoning. So they're not like cut into pieces. There aren't really a lot of like exposed parts.
Okay. All right. Then I'm just gonna back up.
However, if you
didn't.
wanted to make a strength check to try and rip something off of the like the goblin that you just turned into like a sack of potatoes by beating his friend to death with him. Yeah, that's the correct grammar there. You can do so, and I'll just take 5 feet off your movement.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Go ahead and give me a strength check to see if you can just quickly rip a hand or a foot off like a turkey. Oh my god. Of course she can. Warren is a savage, and strolling by casually, you reach down, and with that, I'm definitely going to say you manage to, grabbing a hold of the creature's hair, just yank its head free from its neck, having already kind of messed up the stability of its spinal cord earlier from your downward elbow strike. And you now, Mortal Kombat style, are holding this creature's head and a portion of its spinal cord having been torn free from its torso.
All right, and then I'm just gonna back up. How far can I go?
25 feet. Actually, maybe
Okay.
more because I think monk. But
Oh, you moved 10 feet to get to where
I moved 10.
oh yeah. So 10, and then minus an additional 5 for the head ripping.
You'd basically be able to get back to your starting point.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, it'd be pretty close. Like there's 10 and then back. You could get like here or here depending on if you've got increased movement speed yet.
I think at second level, the monk should.
Second level is unarmored movement
Yeah.
Okay,
increases
yeah,
by
you can go a little
10.
further
Yeah.
then.
Yep. That's what I thought. So you should. Yeah. Yep. Which is just enough to kind of
All
put
right.
you around that bend. Not a bad choice.
Am I able to go prone over
yeah,
here?
that's free.
Or no? Okay, I'll go prone.
Okay, using your free action, you go prone. And then we go top the order to Nahen Vensar, but only as we also then, kind of on the back of all of those Gobbo's warning, have to add a grip of new goblins to the turn order, as it seems they were not exaggerating when they said that there were more on the way. One moment, I have 9 Gobbos to roll for.
Nice.
That's gonna be nice. Okay, 4. That's a 21 on one of these Gobbos. Finally, actually, kind of winning that war of attrition there on the initiative. Ooh, actually, these Gobbos are rushing in it. Bloodthirsty little ones. And then +1 on that, so that makes that an 11. Thank you all for bearing with as I get these goblins stocked and into battle. That's going to be another... Actually, that's funny. That's another 11, and then that's a 16, because I can do math. All right, we'll reshuffle the initiative column. Nahen, you're still going first by a 1-point lead, but you can hear the bands of goblins echoing in the cavern beyond your eyesight, cackling, scraping their blades across the walls and floors, all but calling out, "Adventurers, come out and play!" And it's your turn. What would you like to do?
So, being that I so skillfully made myself look like a rock, if I were to say stand up and pop a shot, would I get advantage on the what we are assuming is a barbarian?
In this case, that is a question to know whether or not it would happen. Before it happens, you would basically need to use insight to know whether or not she is aware of your presence. Or you can just say that you're attacking, commit to it, and I'll tell you whether or not it happens.
I'm committing to shooting an arrow
All right.
at the barbarian.
Committing to shooting it, I can tell you that your hiding was a success. Her passive perception was right on the line and is kind of hampered given the environment. So go ahead and make that roll with advantage and in the sneaky fashion.
In the sneaky fashion, indeed. Come on, crits.
All right. Go ahead and roll. No, not. And unfortunately, a 15 doesn't hit. That is just a little shy as she manages to catch the arrow, kind of batting it aside by forming an improvised shield by holding her scimitars close together. Now,
Okay.
Nahan, that's your attack. You stood up.
Half my movement.
So
I got
you got 15 left.
I'm going down I'm going down below with the I'm going down. Yeah.
Okay.
So
It looks like Kelifin is still on the rope. Are you just leaping over and going to take an acrobatics check and attempt to land?
oh god, with the way I've been rolling, I don't know, but yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it.
That's the quest nature. You gotta you bring that big energy to the table. Go ahead and
I'm gonna use my bonus action to increase to dash to get my movement so I
Okay.
can actually get down.
Cool.
And acrobat.
Go ahead and give me that acrobatics.
Hey.
Nicely done. As you land, you do so perfectly. And that is going to, with a natural 20, I'm going to say you can kind of drop yourself anywhere within basically 10 feet of this landing point. So if you want to get a little extra movement going that way or this way, you're more than welcome to it.
I'll take it. So 20, and I had 35 with the dash, so I have 15 more feet. Got it.
Okay. And the rogue, rather predictably, begins to flee towards the back of the party, retreating to the shadows. Nahan, that looks to be all of your economy, so we're going to move it forward to some murderous gobos who begin running in from the shadows, having been stirred from their camp. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to pan the stream over so everyone can see as they make their way onto the battlefield, but likely I don't think that they have any effective targets, other than to just really, at this point, generally instill a sense of urgency and fear in the players, because that gobbo wall is coming. And that gobbo wall doesn't care. Oh, yeah, these crossbowmen are just going to get eviscerated. It's going to be... Oh, ugly. Okay, that's 1, 2... Oh, I grabbed the wrong gobbos.
Oh man, I'm almost sad now.
1, 2, 3...
They die free.
I was actually going to tell them to
There we go.
to fall back and join us.
First two run in, and then we get to Gobbo on the bridge, who's going to see them and take a shot at this point, given the fact that, yeah, they're the most immediate threat. And that shot is going from this Gobbo to that Gobbo. A critical failure, as we have, honestly, the first of the night. Rolling for variance, it seems like this Gobbo is going to fire, and given the kick of the crossbow, is going to be knocked backwards ever so slightly and take a spill down onto the ground, making a dexterity saving throw, and then failing a dexterity saving throw, rather. That Gobbo is going to fall and take maximum possible damage from this 10-foot drop and effectively break their neck and die as they are still, and whether or not they're dead immediately or that's going to be in a matter of minutes or hours, it seems like they're not getting up anytime soon. I'm going to go ahead and drop a big X on that Gobbo and take him out of the initiative order, and then that takes us to the fighter, Erithil Oak. What are you doing,
Yes.
Erithil?
First, I'm getting up from prone.
Okay, getting up from prone. Important strategic maneuver.
Can I drag the cleric with me while I flee?
That would be
Yes,
awesome for you,
obviously,
Sam.
but it takes a ridiculous athletics check.
Also, that would put your movement at half speed.
That's what I mean.
Well, I'm already not moving far. I don't really want to leave the cleric behind in 30 feet of the scimitar wielder.
Okay, if you want to,
So-
go ahead and make an athletics check.
No, what I will that'll take my action, won't it?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do because I'm still got some beef. I am going to I'm going to pull out my glaive, ready in action to attempt to trip this one should they come in range.
Okay,
And I'll shout to the cleric, run!
noted. And so ready to action.
I'll move a little bit.
Okay, so you'll also get in front of it.
And ready in action to trip. Well, expecting them, but trip
first
the
person.
next enemy that comes within range.
All right, now to teleport them in from outer space. And it goes to then, after your turn, if you're done, a couple more war-hungry Gobbos that I got a little excited with last turn and are now going to be moving into frame, but unable to actually do anything. Then from those war-hungry Gobbos, it goes to Kelefin, who I just accidentally skipped past. Let me get back to that. Kelefin, what's up? you are climbing down a rope, and I thought that was really going to betray you, but it just didn't. So your turn starts halfway down that cliff face. What
Yeah.
would you like to do?
I am going to continue to finish climbing down the rope, which I think is 10 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to move back 20, and then I am going to. Once I'm down, can I would I be able to see my companions over the edge?
Unfortunately, at that point, no. They are just far enough away that they're going to be obscured by the angle.
And if I was over there,
All right, over there, you can kind of see, you can see the top of their weapons basically, but and maybe the tops of their helmets, but you can't really see much of them.
yeah, no, I'm gonna try to find out some numbers and I'm gonna hold action to firebolt the first enemy I see.
First enemy that Kelifin sees is getting a hot spike of arcane ire right to the face. Kelifin, if that's your turn, then we move on to more war-hungry gobbos, who are going to be gobboing it up. Moving into the battlefield, then we've got the human coordinator, who is busy supervising and making sure that all of the productivity and synergy of the goblin workflow is moving as it should. And that then more gobbo as the battlefield gets greener and greener. I'm moving the stream over so everyone can see the oncoming tide of goblins that's beginning to pour in. And bang bang. Then we go now to the presumed barbarian, and barbarian in spirit, if you will, and she is 30 feet. Oh, it's rough. It's a rough one, but she's going to do it. She is going to get here with 25 feet of her movement. And
hold up a second, as when she gets here in my 10-foot reach.
Sure, go for it. Go ahead and make your attempt to trip.
Yep. And I got bless on that.
Okay. 22. That's going to be hard to top, but she does look rather battle hardy. What's your strength?
My strength is 15.
Your strength is 15. Okay, I am so sorry, but she beat you down to the strength modifier.
Damn these characters.
Rolled a 22, and then she is 1 point ahead of you on that. So I'm sorry, that concedes to her. She is not going to be tripped, but it is a valiant effort. As you can see a concerned look flash across her face. Your intricate spear work, or glaive work as it were, enough to almost foil her and send her spilling off her balance. Not something that she is accustomed to in opponents, you can see, as she now kind of intensifies her gaze and furrows her eyebrows, her intent solely set on you and effectively taken from the cleric. That is not going to be enough to impede her, obviously, but she is going to advance now to threaten both of you. And then, because of that attack, however, focus her ire on you. That is going to be one attack that is definitely successful out of the gate. And then the other attack with this... Oh my god, she is killing it. That other attack with the scimitar is going to hit. So we are... That's pretty weak. That's going to be... You take 10 damage.
Oof. I'm not looking good.
As that is her turn. Then from there, it's going over to Gobbo Crossbow Friendly, who is still alive and is going to, seeing the goblins pour in and understand. How much does this goblin understand about battle tactics? Enough. this goblin is going to attempt to and fail at shooting the pressing warrior woman who is attempting to try and kill the companions up here on the highland. That shot missing. They are then going to roll a natural 1 on their attempt to jump down. And yeah, no, they're going to take enough damage to also end their own life. This now finally actually being enough damage to kill 5. There are 5 people on the floor at this time, and that is going to be enough to trigger the floor to fall out. Fortunately, everyone is nowhere near the section that's going to drop away. As one quick moment, real quick, this to about here, where it's a little off screen, begins to crumble and fall away, which in turn triggers the entire cavern to start shaking.
Ooh, that's fun.
You're unsure whether or not it's simply just the reverberation from this collapse, or if perhaps maybe those explosions earlier weakened this area enough that this further movement of rock and stone might be enough to set in motion a cascade of events. So, from there, we are going to... That Gobbo's dead, trim them out of the initiative. That Bugbear is dead, trim them out of the initiative. This is the last, I think, of the new bloodthirsty Gobbos, who is going to then charge into battle. Oh no, there's a couple more. Bum, bum, bum. New bloodthirsty Gobbos, brought to you by Underground Goblin Caverns. And then we go to Bach Crown Gilder. What are you doing, Bach?
Well, I'm gonna be a little heroic here and cast Inflict Wounds
On...
on the girl with the scimitars.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just gotta ask. You never know how this is gonna... PvP is not strictly against the rules. So, with that 23, I mean, you're definitely gonna hit. Dope. Oh man, Inflict Wounds crushes as you step forward and begin to invoke sacred words of power from your goddess Mestu. You harness in your hands what feels to be like the weight of the earth itself, and then you let away from it fall all of its life and drive only into this creature the death and decay of a dying world, and let it endure what it feels like to be passed beyond its mortal coil like so many of the other creatures this woman has easily killed. And in doing so, you see the necrotic damage and also the self-awareness flood into her body as she begins to literally rot from within, and you can see blackened veins shoot up the side of her neck, and almost a bit of blood begin to form in one of her eyes as she lets out this of pain, and also this look of horror as she is dropped down to very low health. I mean, quite obviously, in a weakened state, her guard sagging, her footing becoming loose and stumbling, faltering for a moment. She is not looking good. Bach, what are you doing after your clutch Inflict Wounds?
I realize this too late, but because I hit, I'm gonna move right here.
Okay. I like that reasoning. And then anything else for your turn?
That is all.
Okay. From there, we go to our goblin. Oh, I messed that one up. That one should be there. This guy should be here. Goblin hordes are getting lost on me there for a second. And fortunately, we have the turn tracker, so that'll definitely sort out any final disputes over who goes when, thankfully. But We go now to our last friendly gobbo that was won over in natural 20 perception check, which may or may not actually really be what tips this entire battle. And that's going to seeing their companions flooding into the chamber and the turf dropping out below. They have little choice but to flee. They are going to journey the rest of the length of this bridge. Select object. Why are you not selecting? There we go. Okay, thank you very much. And they're going to use their movement and dash to get over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And just a little bit past and onto the other side of, by moving through the square of, our fighter. 1, 2. Yep.
Good. One of my goblin friends is going to survive.
Yep. That goblin friend
Hopefully.
is definitely, as you may have heard, I want to see my kids again, is a very powerful motivator for these little guys, as they only live for a scant few years. I mean, think of how many fewer precious memories you have of your loved ones. I mean, you got to really want to make all that count at that point. That goes from that goblin to last, but certainly not least, Warren of the Cracked Sky. You see the earth caving before you and swallowing your former opponents. You have one of their skulls and vertebra clutched in your offhand, and it seems that the general air of the evening is turning to one of strategic retreat. What do you plan on doing?
I'm going to back up
Excellent.
to here. I think it's the farthest I can get. I think that's 40.
Yep.
All right. And then I'm going to stealth just in case they try and come down.
Okay. That'll be your action. And expertly you
Accept it twice.
That's fine.
Again.
So your 20 is going to matter, however, as you deftly slip into the shadows and begin moving with the natural contours of the stone as if to throw off any sort of passing glances. Warren, if that's your turn, then
That is my turn.
we have one more gobbo who is after you, actually, and is now last to the order, is going to come stumbling into the cavern. Helmet all crooked, belt on loose, clearly almost tripping over their own sandals. Definitely not the top of the pool when it came to the Goblin Academy, but nonetheless, they'll make a valuable sacrifice for their savage kin, and they join the back ranks, bringing us now, top of the order, to Nehen Vensar. You are up, my good human rogue. What are you doing?
Well, I can't see pretty much anything that's going on up there. So I'm just going to continue my
I should mention I have yet to lose concentration, so that part of the bridge is still being illuminated
Worth noting.
because that light is still there.
Yeah, I'll move that to the front. I can also, I'll just put Nora on it real quick.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're laying down. So if I position myself here and pop a shot, am I at this distance? I'm going to shoot, but am I able to see this goblin on top of the bridge?
Yes, you are. They are just like running into view at the beginning of your turn, the way that the timing of it kind of plays out in sort of that fluid dynamic way. And so, yeah, you can just see a little bit of them, but they're a target.
Okay, well, I've moved 10, and I am taking a shot at that goblin on the bridge, so it's this one over here.
Yep. I got you.
And
All right, Nehen at 18 is going to be more than enough, but that goblin is also unaware of your presence, so this is a sneak attack.
in that case, you will also have advantages.
This is
Well,
also true.
Nice.
Okay.
Let's see the crit.
Might crit.
Yeah, so let's see.
Oh wait, yep.
No.
Not a crit, but definitely a hit. Go ahead and roll damage with sneak.
Better.
7.
Yeah.
Not enough to kill this goblin, but woof, does it take the momentum out of his charging little beady heart as it just like turns him sideways and almost sends him spiraling into the ground. He whips back up and glares through the darkness, one hand peering through the illumination as his eyes adjust to the dancing lights before him in front of the chasm, and peers across to see you, Nahan, as he raises one of his hands clutching the dagger and screeches at you from across the way, frustrated and also kind of useless, man. I mean, what's he supposed to do? So
Right? And as I see him gesture, I mean, I unleashed that arrow and I was sure it was going to hit. So before he even started to gesture, I turned and boogied. I got right next to Warren, and as my cunning action, I am going to also hide.
all right. Go ahead and 19. Taking a masterful page out of the monk's perfect textbook example of how to conceal yourself in the choke point of a dimly lit cavern, you join them in a nearby but also adequately suited hiding spot. Nahan, that's the end of your turn, and we go now to the Gobos, the bloodthirsty little goblins, who are the eternal bane of level 1 and 2 adventurers, but I'm sure eventually you all will laugh as the hordes of these things go down in number. So we've got, let me double check I've got the right one. Yep, this one's gonna, 1, 2, 3, begin charging this way to try and take advantage of what little land connection kind of remains from this upper ground to this lower ground here. But that's going to be pretty much their entire turn between dash, move, and then the less than stellar attempts to climb down that cliff. Then we move on to another Gobbo doing the same thing. Gobbo Gob is charging, and that's movement and dash, which doesn't leave them but their bonus action to... They managed to actually get down. So that's going to be their entire turn with a successful acrobatics. Arithil.
But actually, question: can I see them?
Boom, boom, boom. Let me draw a line. I think you might actually.
They do have a reaction.
You are like, that is so close. I mean, if they were one tile over, definitely, but they are just on the underside of it. You can see their shadow, but you don't see them. Arithil, you are up.
All right, we'll try to finish this one off. Take my halberd, attack with the flanking for advantage.
All right, move up, focus the stream on that. That 23 is definitely going to hit in the same order of magnitude as, say, that inflict wounds. All right, taking advantage of her weakened state, you bring the halberd down, crashing into the, like, screeching almost blade comes across the top of her breastplate and uses it as a cutting guide, and it goes right into her chin, and you feel the blade be splitting both flesh and bone, and a cry becomes a gurgle as a once formidable opponent becomes lifeless before you in the dirt.
Nice.
Well done. I will assign a dead X to that, and I will remove her from the initiative order.
Did her swords look fancy at all, or they just look like scimitars?
Go ahead and give me a, I guess,
Perception?
Yeah, it would be perception in this case.
Oh, no advantage, but a 19.
19. The scimitars do not necessarily have, like, glyphs running up the side of them, and they're not made out of like exotic crystal, but fine craftsmanship when you see it, and those are definitely of better make and model. So whether or not they are magical, they're likely either masterwork or valuable.
Nice. All right, we'll go ahead and grab those from her hands before we book it.
Okay. Go ahead as I track the tile by tile booking of Arathil. All right. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes, I might, since they're kind of looking to cut us off, I might still need my, oh wait, bonus action, second wind.
You're going to use your, okay.
Remember,
Yeah, there's no reason not to. I'm pretty hurt.
you have yet to use your action surge as well.
Yeah, I just said that, but I might still need it since these goblins are going to cut us off.
Okay. Healing wind. Second wind. You are, I think healing wind is from one of the Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
Second wind is going to restore a fair amount of vitality as you, having just bested what was probably the greatest warrior they had to offer at this moment, and come away with a nice token of your efforts. You're feeling pretty good about yourself right now, Arathil.
And actually, second thought, I will use my action surge to dash and get the rest, rejoin with the group because the cleric can dash.
Actual question.
Okay.
Do you do morale rolls?
I do. I don't necessarily do them strictly speaking by the rules as they're presented in the books, because I think that those aren't necessarily like, it doesn't account for all of the nuance of a situation, but I definitely like honor the idea of, you know, I mean, it makes more sense for creatures that are prone to flee given a battle turning against them.
Yeah. Okay, I think I end up there if I have to double, if I go at half speed down the 10 feet of rope.
Okay, great.
And yeah, as I'm running, I'll holler to the cleric. Time to go while the getting is good.
Arathil, that is your turn, and your advice is of the wise variety. As more of these goblins begin to flood onto the bridge, that is going to, because they're trying to sort of take advantage of two directions, this goblin is going to unwittingly become visible. So Kelefin, your firebolt is going to trigger. And before I move him further on, you could one-shot him potentially. And you do! Oh, no, sorry, that's not a damage roll, that's an attack roll. Oh, that...
12 enough?
The 12 is enough, though. So go ahead and roll.
Right.
You needed that one. That was a lot. Ooh, man, and that's enough damage to kill this goblin. As
Nice.
you do stop it mid-stride, one of its legs getting blown out from underneath it, it hits the planks and then is sent tumbling sideways over into the abyss below, and you can hear him scream, "Ah!"
Yes, that tiny little that soft little whisper from the guidance of the dwarf goddess.
Oh yeah, it matters. It matters. And that is going to be the end of... Oh, did I grab the... Oh, I keep grabbing the wrong goblins. I'm off by one. This goblin is going to fall, dropping the X on him, taking him out of the initiative order. Then there is one more goblin left before it actually goes to Kelefin's turn from his held action. And that goblin is going to take, seeing the fate of the one in front of it, the side route with the rest of its companions and move down here. But due to its distance, it will not even be able to use its bonus action to try and get down. It's just stuck right there. So that makes it Kelefin Silwain, you are up. Having just lanced a goblin with a firebolt, what do you want to do next?
With the same momentum of twirling my staff and I'm shooting a fireball, he's going to basically pirouette to the and use a firebolt once again.
Okay.
Because I'm out of spell slots.
Got it. Go ahead.
Which I was about to say monkey.
Sure. I mean, that's same.
I was about to say which goblin can I see?
Right now you can see this goblin right here, given your position, and you can see this goblin up here on the high ground, and that is it.
I'm gonna aim at the one in the high ground because I have a plan for the ones in the low ground.
Okay. Go for it. Natural 20. All right. Man, the players in this game have just been opening the beta with some strong luck. A lot of you just knocking it out with natural 20s, high damage rolls, good choices. It's almost like a lot of you know what you're doing. So that's going to be another 9 damage and
10.
10 damage with the extra +1, and that is going to be enough to also kill that goblin, sending yet another one in. Now what is kind of almost like as you described, just this fluid movement from one hand to the next, summoning forth yet another manifestation of your will in the form of a burning cinder that you then huck over at this goblin, and it pierces through the air, and you see it strike them in the neck and send black smoke up into the air as it starts lighting their little mustache and beard hairs on fire, and they struggle to try and put it out, but it doesn't matter because you've already sort of blown open a hole in their throat, and the poor guy just dies, and it's awful, and he's screaming out and reaching for his friends to come help him, but they can't help him. That goblin's dead, and they know it, and they just don't even look him in the eye, and they just keep running, and he dies. All right, it's your turn.
Oh yeah. I would like to just look at this goblin, the one, the one that just pinged.
Okay, the one you just killed. Hold on, I'm killing that one, and so you are looking at this.
No, yeah, the one that just pinged, the one that is on our level.
Yep.
I'm going to look him right in the eyes, and without a word, point at the one I just burned, then at him, and then with my free hand, just the go away motion.
Sure. Shoo, be gone with you now.
Or it's more of a be gone with you now, or that's going to be you.
Okay, Kelifin, is that the end of your turn?
No, I'm going to move 25 feet.
Okay. After that, we go to more blood-hungry goblins that are on the charge. They're moving up the side route. We go to the human commander, and back to more gobbo. This gobbo is dead. We're not going back to that gobbo. That gobbo's not going back ever. Then more of them are flooding this side passageway to try and get down there to attack, but we go then to the dead fighter who was downed a moment ago, and this goblin is he's just steady chilling, doing his goblin job off screen. So then we go to Bach Crown Gilder. You are up. Bach, what are you doing?
So, I'm gonna look around for a second, just glance my head around, and then immediately suddenly start dashing towards the edge right here.
Okay, you got it.
So I'm gonna jump, but
Okay.
I'm going to use my Zodiac to get advantage on my acrobatics
Okay.
check.
Experiencing a little bit of lag
yeah.
on my between my dual monitors. Don't mind my head bobbing. Okay, that's 18, and you couldn't use it, so that's going to give you a little extra oomph as you take that leap and land safely. So you're going to get an extra. I'll go ahead and measure it for you. You would normally land. Why is my snap to center is not. There we go. Okay, excellent. Just needed a second to catch up. So you would normally land like right here with just a neutral check, but with this, you're going to be able to land right there, which is closer than it appears on the map, but just due to the way that the angles are, it kind of seems as if it's 20 feet. It's closer to 10.
Yeah.
So,
I get what you're saying.
Bach, that's your dash, your bonus action. That's everything. That's your turn.
I have 5 more feet, so I'm gonna move right here.
Excellent. You got it. Counts. It really counts. And then we've got a gobbo over here to pan the screen, who's on the bridge, or the cusp of being on the bridge, but he learned that lesson better having watched two of his friends die terrible, fiery deaths moments before. That's going to be their turn. Then we go to the goblin crossbow wielder that was otherwise kind of charmed over to your cause, and then certainly persuaded by the efficacy with which you've just demolished their companions. So this goblin crossbower at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plus.
Just saying he's better off with us than with the goblins.
At this point, I mean, they've made the choice. Nailing an acrobatics check, this goblin is going to be able to similarly just take a running leap of faith at the end of their movement and land right in next to both Bach and Erithil, and managing to kind of stand up and look at you both with a panic, just, more coming! We've got to get out of here! Follow me! I'll get you to the surface!
Give him a big thumbs up.
I believe we are all in agreement that that's what we want to do, right?
Yeah.
All right, with that, the goblin still has more movement and is going to be able to get to right about there. Apparently fleeing being this one's particular specialty, it is going to spare no time just cutting past the taller adventurers and weaving through their legs to get as much of a distance between themselves and the rest of their bloodthirsty horde. That is going to take us to not quite the end of the order now, but close. One Warren of the Cracked Sky. Warren, what are you doing?
I'm going to ask the goblin to point which way
All right.
is the way out.
The goblin, I'm going to move the stream down a little bit, is going to point generally in a southeastern direction across the cave this way. And they're going to say, well, go across the ledge. There's a tunnel at the end of the cavern, or you can, if you go forward and up the steps, you take a right into the first cavern you see and follow it. They'll meet up and both will go above ground.
Very clear.
Okay. Very clear
Very,
instructions.
very
Alright.
good on his basically sense of direction. His survival
DM.
check was lit.
DM, I will trust on you more my token because, well, my character and this golem has perfect direction. I have none. So
All right.
I am going to run out. And I'm just going to go right here. I'm still going to be stealth, but I'm just going to run to the end of the stairs.
Okay, got it. If that's the end of your turn, we go now to a bloodthirsty gobbo, the last of them, the one that I described as being particularly unfit for even what is lowly cannon fodder duty, and is going to be able to make themselves all the way up to the back end of their kind of rallying group of compatriots, but that's it.
Are we out of combat
And
at this
that
point
is
in the chase?
Nahan's turn. You are not quite out of combat, simply just because there are these goblins right here. I'm going to see how this turn plays out, and there's a good chance that this will be where the initiative breaks, but that'll kind of depend on how you're able to manipulate the chase mechanics, you know what I mean? So, Nahan Vensar, human
Gonna-
extraordinaire, it is your
Right.
turn. What would you like to do?
Pop out from move my 15 feet right up here and take a shot at said gobbo.
Okay. This is definitely from stealth. Go ahead and roll with advantage and with sneak attack. I mean, there's no hidden thing here. Yeah, you rolled like a 21 on your last stealth check or something. So that's going to be a 16. That's totally enough to hit. A 14 would have too. These little guys are pretty unarmed.
Nice.
And that is going to send him spiraling backwards into the dark chasm as he turns the corner only to eat a short bow arrow to the neck and is sent stumbling and reeling and into the darkness with another classic Wilhelm Goblin-esque
And like my monk friend, I am going to take a page from their book and book it. So I'm going to use my cunning action to dash and jet 40 feet or 45.
Okay. Getting out of there. Go ahead and adjust your token. I'm gonna. Okay, now we've. This is why I didn't end the chase immediately, as these goblins up here. I'm not sure if the stream can quite. I'll shift that a little. These goblins right here are all kind of going towards the first half of the turn, so they're going to begin shifting down and kind of charging at the players. So we'll see if they're able to kind of delay everybody, but it looks like this first goblin is going to scrabble their way down the cliff and make their way by use of dash up to the front rank here and is now threatening both Erithil and Bach. That is the end of their turn, though, as we then now go to Expired Goblin and then pass on to Erithil. Erithil, there's a nasty looking little short, kind of spitting a lot, nasty person in front of you that you think needs maybe a stabbing. What are you going to do about it?
I mean, I can't, unlike the others, unless I crit, I'm not going to one-shot him. So I'll help our cleric by taking his attack of opportunity as I simply dash.
All right. You're dashing and taking that attack of op. So rolling. Ooh, just across the line. This lucky little gobbo is going to manage to stab you right in the back. And they sort of leap up into the air to make it possible because they're all short and stuff. And they kind of just stab you right above the tailbone, right in the tenderloin, the softest part of the lower back. And it's going to do a total of 5 damage.
Not ideal, but I can take it. That's why I second winded last round.
It is indeed.
And yeah, that means he can't do that to the cleric.
It does.
We should
And
have rock cover from any others that run up.
that is a wise move. From there, we go to more of these little tiny buggers who are coming down the cliffside and running up into threat range. That's one more. And then we go to Kelifin Silwain.
Oh boy. 40 feet and I would firebolt the one that just appeared.
Okay.
Actually, firebolt and then 40 feet.
Firebolt, 40 feet. Go ahead and roll that attack. I see, Nahan, yes, you're finding out that everyone is forced to roll HP if you level up while you are currently in control of that character. Because we do this old school. And that's going to be a 21. That's 23. That definitely hits. That's 9 damage. That is the. Well, actually, let me check this gobbo's. Yep, that is enough to kill this one in particular. And I'll drop a big red X on them. And they come around the corner, come running towards the cleric, only to eat a mouthful of hot ash that just blows out the back of their skull and goes streaking further on into the cavern, illuminating the ravine behind you, but briefly, and leaving this goblin standing here with just a smoking crater above their neckline. And Kelifin, that's your attack, that's your movement. Anything else?
No.
All right, and then we go to the gobbos. All right. They're going to... Actually, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, no, they're not. Okay, it looks like they're calling it. You can hear the ones on the cliffside screeching, "Go around! Go around!" as they decide to maybe try a different change in tactics, as this sort of one-at-time whack-a-mole is not really cutting it. And they begin to drop down the other side of the ridge and disappear from sight. It's the human commander's turn. More gobbo. And I think this is a dead gobbo, yeah? Yep, that one's...
Yeah, it looks like we're getting to the escape at this point. Hopefully they don't have a secret
You, by
link.
the hair of your chinny chin chin, are managing to make your way out of here. That goes now to Bach Crown Gilder. You have one goblin, but it cannot attack you. So are you out of there? Are you running, Bach?
So it can attack me. So I can just run without disengaging.
Yep, because
Okay.
your
Yes.
fighter companion wisely ate the opportunity attack that they are capable of.
Yes, I'm going to run and dash all the way over here.
Okay, I'm gonna take a quick measurement real quick, but I believe that is the end of initiative. And now I measure something ominously off screen and make remarks about it. All right, no, there's just no way. Okay, so the goblins being forced to go the long way around what is the other entrance to this chamber now are not going to be able to catch up with you in time. And because you have your goblin companion to save you any missteps on your escape from this chamber, you are going to be able to basically immediately flee. If you follow my arrow, you'll be going from here along this sort of southern ridge line as I make it visible for the stream and disappearing out the far side of this canyon. I'm going to reveal a little bit of it for you should you want to return to this area, as it is definitely like all events are permanent in So You Think You Can Quest. So this hole in the middle of the road that a bunch of goblin demolitionists made accidentally at the behest of some human smugglers, it's not going anywhere. And chances are this isn't small news. This is going to actually permanently affect the flow of traffic and the way that things are in this particular region for some time until the event is resolved in a comprehensive way.
Smuggler, you say?
So that is kind of that sort of exit tunnel over there. And I'm going to switch everyone back now to the overland map.
Question. You did say smugglers, right?
Sorry, smugglers, yes.
Would you say we are in a misty valley?
You guys are in a misty valley in that Hope's Rise is, next to one and part of one, but this is, an underground set of caves, and then there is a valley in front of you as I transition.
I believe we may have failed my personal quest.
Just gonna do it another time.
All right. This could be described as a valley of sorts. But it sounds like perhaps that there may be yet another level of intrigue here, as it seems like our resident wizard has some sort of potential ties with some smugglers in this region. You can only see where that plays out. But in the meantime, not to let the action drop, we now have 5 living players at the end of what was, personally, towards the, there were maybe one misstep that you could have been afforded in that battle, and if it weren't for the luck and the high damage rolls, you all might be eating a lot of goblin knives right now. So you also chose the right path too. Had you gone to the south, you would have definitely just eaten goblin horde.
When we get out, I want to give our goblin guide 1 gold coin and a ration as thank you.
They nod and they say, "Thank you, thank you."
I will just say good luck to him.
So what's your
and
path
let him be on
from
his journey.
here, going friend?
I'm going south. I'm going to rejoin my tribe.
Well, in that case, this is where we part because we're going north. Good luck on your travels.
And they're
What
going
were you
to
saying,
kind of
Warren?
bob along into the tall grass in the distance unless somebody else is going to stop them.
I think Warren wanted to say something.
Warren?
Oh, I was just going to say good luck on your journey. If we meet again, then we will be there for you as well.
He calls back. You have a friend in me.
Oh wait, we need his name.
Oh shoot! What's your name? Wait.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
He calls back. My name is Grizzard. You're not
Grizzard.
sure if there's a long Z in that or not, however, due to the distance and kind of the the hailing nature of it. That does, though, mean that unless you are all going to try... Well, even if you are going to camp here, I now need a encounter roll as you begin traversing the landscape once more. It is worth noting, however, that your companion's cave did loop around and did not cause you to lose any distance. But in fact, at the very end of it, kind of spit you out right about a quarter mile ahead of where you'd fallen in originally.
We
Okay.
definitely need to rest.
We
at
can't
some
camp
point.
here, though. We
Yeah,
can't.
We have to move at least a little. Like, could we go half the distance of an encounter roll and camp?
Well, then you'll just get an encounter roll when you camp. I mean, that's...
Yeah,
But-
yeah. We need to get at least past the bridge.
Okay. You
Yeah,
can
well,
certainly
because
get
the
to...
lamp bridges have a bad habit of falling out under us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we'd rather be on the inner side
You
when
can
it
basically
happens.
get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can get to about here-ish before triggering another encounter.
Right.
All right.
Not
But
saying that that's where the encounter will happen, but I'm just saying that that's when the roll will occur.
Would it happen for a long rest or a short rest?
It would not happen for a short rest. Your encounter roll for that
Oh.
has already occurred.
Oh, well, then we might as well just short rest here if it's safe.
Oh yeah, good idea. I can actually regain one spell so like that.
I'll regain everything because I'm a fighter.
Yeah,
for you.
I
lucky
need some
you.
hit
I
points.
I get like a maximum of 4 hit points out of this.
That's the spirit.
Is there a set amount of hit dice we can roll?
No, you can... Well, sorry, you can roll hit dice equal to your... No, there's no limit. I haven't established one on
There
that
is no
yet.
there is no limit, but when you long rest, you only get half of your maximum hit dice.
I understand that.
Wait, you only get
Also,
half of it?
You
Yeah,
only get half
you
of your
get half
of your hit dice back if you went during a long
Okay.
rest. That said, if you need them, you might as well roll them.
It's half rounded up, so that because otherwise
Wait,
you
the
never
short
get-
or the long rest?
So like you spend hit dice on a short rest, and on a long rest you get half of what you spent back, rounded
Oh.
up.
Well, half of your total.
Yeah, half of whatever. So if you have 6 levels, you get 3 back per long. You get 3 hit dice back per long rest. It is worth noting, in general, while 5th edition rounds up in favor of players, So You Think You Can Quest is not that kind of game. And if you are ever in a situation where rounding is required, we definitely round down here. We always round down.
Well, we round up on damage.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
because this is a short rest, do I get all of that back or no?
because this is a short rest.
You get your
So-
key points back, and you can roll your hit dice.
Yeah, you
or
get your
something.
set. Yeah, you get those 7 hit points, and you get your key points back.
Okay.
And you could roll another hit die if you desired.
I might as well.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Oh.
That probably puts you back to full.
So
Almost.
so I'm feeling lucky after that natural 20 persuasion. Do you guys want me to roll the encounter?
Oh no, it's definitely going on Warren.
Okay.
Both
Me?
new player
So
for
I
the
roll
issue.
100?
Yep. D100 into chat.
I thought you had already rolled.
What-
Well, but we're gonna move before
Yeah, for our movement.
beforehand, so we want to get to like up here before.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
encounter roll is just it reflects the general kind of the course of the day. It doesn't happen sort of immediately. So if you guys roll that encounter roll, like I know that the new one doesn't take effect until you've passed that boundary.
10-4.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
All
like
right.
I'm not cheating you out of that by like, oh, you didn't move to the maximum of the last one, kind of thing.
Whoop, is it not slash?
It's slash and then it's R and then space 1D100.
Or
Also, there's a dice roller tool on in the left tools.
That's the one. 67.
Yeah,
Okay.
I tried to do it, but I messed it up the first time. I didn't space
The
it.
last time that was a pretty good. Last time I think that was a pretty good encounter. 67.
I must say, you certainly all did come away with quite a bit of experience, and which I will have to tabulate here at the end of the show. And it seems that there it is. My black.
Shame we had to run like that, or I would have loved to get that fighter barbarian lady's breastplate.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it was fancy.
That
The
ooh.
breastplate is just good armor.
Hold on.
Yeah, at least you got the scimitars.
I'm
I do have
curious
the
to
scimitars. I
see
should
what
add it
this
to my
might
sheet.
yield. Rolling again. Consulting the book.
Also, what kind of fighter are you? What's your fighting style?
Fighting style is archery, but
Oh,
I
nice.
also have the halbert, which I call the glaive because they're literally interchangeable.
Ooh.
And now I also have 2 scimitars, and looks like I also had 2 hand axes, but other than throwing, these scimitars are slightly better.
So, this is interesting.
Interesting is good, maybe?
Who knows? That's the fun part. So,
Is a scimitar a
you
martial
are
weapon?
all going to manage to make it to about here.
It is.
Ooh, we made good progress.
Yeah.
And
Okay, we made it to
before
we made it to civilization.
it kicks in, and I'm gonna go ahead and ask everyone to who's got. Well, I believe the cleric's probably got the highest passive perception, but I don't want to.
Let me check.
Who's
I got
got
a 14.
I have a 13.
13?
The monk might have good perception.
The monk also might as well. Warren, what's your passive perception?
Where does it say it?
It'll be
Below
under
your
your your primary abilities. It's kind of near your proficiencies.
Near the
Next to your-
proficiencies?
It's on the left side,
left
down
of
a
your
little.
Yeah,
Left of your inventory.
Oh, 12.
12. Okay,
I
12.
got a 14.
14. All right. So it sounds like then, without a challenge to that, you will be the first one to notice, but not by a large margin because all of the other ones are merely a point behind you. So you have maybe a 5-10 foot lead if you're going to start running off. But there seems to be glowing in the same color as that specific nova, that font, that rift of massive energy focused around those 9 silhouettes, seems to be glowing and emerging from the landscape right about here. And it's not the grand display, it's not the same, like, literally land scarring, rock shaking, earthquake causing kind of display. Instead, it's small. It's maybe, it looks like a torch in the distance, and then getting a little closer, likely whatever the source of it is no bigger than the size of maybe a person's fist or like a water skin. But it looks like whatever it is that's making it is near the cliffside of that rock formation that you're seeing there. I'm going to adjust the stream. Too much. To the south of the road. You and your companions are free to do what you will. What would you like to do in response to seeing what seems to be some sort of mystical glowing field of energy emerging from the landscape some couple 100 feet away?
Do we have any way of moving around?
Oh, absolutely. It's to the south of the road. It's not even obscure, like it's not in any way in impeding your movement. It's attached to this rock down here.
I am very sorry for what I'm about to say, but Aurora Borealis at this time of day, in this time of the planet.
Do we have anything to detect magic?
I do.
Well, it's pretty obviously magic. That much we know.
Well, what kind of magic? More or less.
Well,
Actually, good
I
point.
don't know how much information was relayed from Nenton
Yeah.
before the time of her untimely demise. Because I know out of character what type of magic
You can
it is.
generally assume that you have most of the
quick.
like the plot relevant information that has been like
So we got
accrued by your previous guildmates.
Question: being an expert in evocation magic, would I need to? Can I identify evocation magic at sight?
Not necessarily.
Would I be able to make an educated guess that this might be evocation magic?
You would still require an Arcana check to just make sure that you don't absolutely,
Alright.
like
One check, one check is better than 11 minutes. So
so.
So we're on the road, right?
Yeah.
And this is happening at the rock. Can I tuck into the grass on the opposite side of the road and hide?
Go ahead and give me a stealth check. And with a 20 Arcana, Kelefin, you can see at a distance that this particular kind of energy is actually different than what Nenton had seen. Nenton, even though it seems of the same color and same variety and kind of pattern, your observation at a distance, Kelefin, tells you that this is actually very unique and intriguing. It doesn't seem to be celestial in nature, and it also doesn't seem to be of traditional arcana. Whatever it is that is generating that field that you're seeing off the road there is of a psionic nature. A particular discipline of magic, or, if you will, kind of reality manipulation or force gathering that is particularly rare in Eidolon and thought to be sort of something that was at one point known and commonly practiced, but then also lost in prior unnamed ages. So it's thought to be the presence of psionics is either extremely rare or only usually in the presence of some very, very ancient territory.
I'm so tempted to just dunk my head into the resplandescence.
Are you telling us what you find or think?
Are you keeping it to yourself?
I'm still trying to process it. Give me a second. Okay. This is most definitely some kind of psionic manifestation. Not exactly arcana or divine or even fiendish. Most likely a way of using the mind's own energy to acquire or manifest magic-like abilities. I have no idea why it's here. It just sometimes happens in very old and ancient places. I have no idea other than that why it will be here.
I bet 3 gold it gives someone superpowers.
Go ahead.
I will look at you like, you better have my money ready.
Sure.
As I will approach this orb.
All right. As you
Actually,
grow,
3 of those ghosts are his gold.
yeah, right. As you grow nearer to it, striding across this waist-high field of dark green grass and watching as the mists sort of swirl and burn away from this particular like font of energy that almost creates kind of this conical shape in the clouds above it, almost as if this location were somehow destined or marked by the very forces and powers that be. You approach. A sense of awe grows in your stomach as you find that the source of this is a jagged crystal protruding from some recently cracked stone. It looks like perhaps maybe the blast that also dropped you dozens of feet into a lightless cavern have also maybe shaken loose some once precarious rock formations and uncovered some fresh geological findings. This crystal, again, kind of an indigo, almost like light purple, pinkish in tone, is glowing there in front of you, and you can all but see small flares of energy form on the outside of its crystalline edge, and then sort of cycle up through the crystal, terminating at the top with a spark before the process begins again, like a electric current running up a hot wire.
I'll holler back, it's some kind of crystal radiating energy. I'm gonna touch it.
Go ahead.
And I will carefully reach out towards it slowly.
Okay. The
And-
fighter is going to make a wisdom saving throw. As of course,
Awesome.
this is how it goes.
It's a
7.
good roll.
Nice.
All right. You pick up this crystal, and as you attempt to wrap your mind around the arcs of energy that begin pouring into both your psyche and your physical form and almost threaten to detether the two from one another and send your spiritual form drifting off into the infinite planes, you are rocked by a wave of basically feedback would be the right way to describe it, as you are unable to channel the energy correctly, and instead of flowing through you, it kind of bounces off and causes this reaction. You are going to take, oh yeah, that's a total of 18 damage.
I am still up at 1 hit point.
And you get the impression that were you able to harness this thing with the power of your mind, you might be able to, as you implied, gain superpowers?
Oh, yes.
So seeing this psionic thing happen, Bach, who has a wisdom saving throw of 5, is gonna approach the stone gem, the glowing thing.
Okay.
But before you try anything, we just had a short rest. We barely came out alive. Maybe go into civilization and then try it.
I mean, if you're not going to try it, I'm going to try it.
I
I'm
wanna
gonna try
try
it. I'm gonna try it.
Okay.
We all want to try.
I'm going to honor, basically, at this point, whoever spoke up in order. So, Bach, you were the second person to say that you wanted to try it. Go ahead and step forward and see if you can somehow harness this beacon of potential.
Ooh, nice.
Excellent. One moment. Confirmed. So, Bach, you grab a hold of this crystal, and you can feel in your familiarity with realms beyond the purely physical, as your sense of time is literally wrenched from you, and you're dialed backwards thousands and thousands of years in the blink of an eye, and then yet thousands and thousands more, as you see ages of Eidolon pass before you as if seconds. The landscape forming and decaying and rearranging in this process, as you then arrive somewhere so far in the past that you don't even feel a connection to this timeline. It's as if it occurred in a time before time. And this landscape around you is much more of kind of this well-sculpted step instead of this jagged series of cliffs and monoliths and mountains that rise up at odd angles out of the valley floor. And it's like this whole place has been shaped before. And it looks as if all of it leads towards, one moment, I'm going to just move the stream out a little bit so everyone can see where I'm drawing this next arrow. It looks like all of these steps and all of the kind of like pathways that are carved into the very foundation of the landscape lead in this spiraling way up to the top of, if you're looking at it by pulling back on your map, this mountain right here, which you also know just by common reference to be where the Cathedral of Ages, the illustrious rock formation, is located on the top of that mountain. And it seems as if this must be it. You must be witnessing the first cathedral. And you then think to yourself that if this is the truth, then the goddess Idala must be nearby. And as you begin to kind of look around on the horizon to see if you can catch the glow of what must surely be the miles high radiance of the infinite divine aura, you instead see what appears to be a crystalline form begin to take a hold of the landscape and begin breaking out of the center of that mountain where all of the steps gather and all of the pathways converge and rise into a single conical meeting place that you can't quite see the fine details of at this distance. As this happens, then, the landscape, as if being torn apart by some force underneath it, begins to just get ravaged. Mountains crumble and canyons form as what was once an immense work of craftsmanship and beauty that spanned for miles in every direction begins to get shattered in what feels like moments by monoliths emerging from the ground made of this same crackling crystal substance. And you can now feel a tether between this ancient crystal that is destroying the landscape and the small shard that you see in front of you. And at that moment, a single name etches itself into your mind, not as a series of words, but as an indelible emotion, as a pure thought. And it greets you from beyond space and time. And it says, "My name is Erisette. Will you accept my offer?"
I accept.
All right. With that, you are going to be bonded to this crystal as an ion stone, functionally. And judging on what I rolled on the random chart of various benefits that these crystals can bestow, it looks like, interestingly enough, this crystal is going to impart upon you an extra death saving throw.
Nice.
Wait, how do you mean? Like
He now has,
he has to,
4 death
he-
saving throws
4.
instead of 3.
but like, okay, so he has to roll 4 before he succeeds as well.
Sorry, rather he had 4 to fail, but 3 to succeed.
I didn't mean to roll.
Is the better
My
way to
bad.
look at that. So that
gets a
means
free
that he
fail.
has 1 extra chance not to die. But for those of you who are familiar with the rule system, because of the way that there's sort of an attrition to death saving throws, that doesn't necessarily spare you from that much, or a total party wipe either. So don't go around thinking you're immortal, because if you go down and there's no one else to pick you back up, whatever it is that killed your companions is probably going to make a meal out of you as well.
Or turn you into replacement bone creatures.
Now, with a thunder crack and a bolt of energy from the sky, you see your companion struck and his beard hairs, or I'm sorry, are you playing? Irrelevant. Their hair stands on end and they begin to sort of shake for a moment before the crystal rises from the earth and begins to slowly orbit their person, having bonded with their very soul. And with that, before we go any further, we are right at the 4-hour mark. I think this is a great cutoff point. You all, I'm going to move the token forward to where you would have gotten at the end of this encounter check. So you're right about there on the map, which puts you now 1, 2, depending, encounter checks away from the center of town and claiming the cash prize of $250. So assuming that all goes well next session, we will have some winners of cash on our hands. But in the meantime, I have the daily prize to award. And given what occurred tonight, there were some really good criticals from everybody. But for the sake of both turning the tide of the battle and also just the comical effect of it, I am definitely giving out the award for most savage to Warren of the Cracked Sky. Congratulations, Warren. You can choose from the Chevron Amethyst, not Chrysler. That was a mistype on my behalf. I'm a dumb person with a bad, faulty brain. And or the variegated Tiger's Eye. Either one, they're both of basically equivalent value, more or less, on the open gem market in the real world. So you're not, losing out by taking one over the other. Which would you like?
The Tiger's Eye.
Tiger's Eye. Okay. And of course, that comes with your choice of brown or black cotton bolo band. Which would you prefer? Are you looking at the pictures?
Yeah, my mic's just not going off. I said black, sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. I was like, there was the pause there. All right, black it is. So I will, if you want to, go ahead and message the address that you would like that shipped to, and I'll get that out as soon as I am able. Thank you very much. I'm going to do just a quick wind down for everybody as we come to a close. Thank you, everyone out there who's been watching the stream, commenting in the Twitch, everyone that I met today over the course of answering a glut of applications. Thank you so much for your interest in the game. I'm going to try and get back to everyone as best as I can. I've got more emails and private messages to sort through tomorrow, but we will be playing every Sunday and Tuesday, as far as I can see, at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you will continue to have a never-ending chance to get invited into this game because players will be dying constantly. I might even have to ratchet up the difficulty of this depending on how things play out in the next couple of sessions, but one thing at a time. And we have also now kind of, for the first time, had our chance to draw from a player pool that was over full and turn some people away for the evening. Those of you who weren't able to quest tonight, I thank you so much for showing up, and don't forget that you will get a chance to play. I promise you, there are going to be tons of chances as this concept moves forward. And let me think. Oh, a quick mention at the end of this, just so that nobody forgets. All of this is also being done to help the Extra Life organization that is raising money for Children's Miracle Hospitals. So if you enjoyed this stream, don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the relevant YouTube channel. Like and subscribe that. Any profit or any revenue that's generated by this developing stream for these first couple of months is 100% going to the Extra Life organization, while at the same time, as we move forward, there will be extra chances for players to both kind of earn money from my cloak pocket being put into that charitable donation, as well as I might probably just keep that goodwill rolling depending on how much the popularity the channel's gained in a couple of months. We'll see. But the point of that is that, remember, all of these adventurers are trying hard in real time to both best a savage game world of my custom design, with hundreds of hours going into creating what is to be the ultimate test of all adventurers, should they dare to call themselves that. So in the meantime, until next session, you only have to ask yourself one question. So you think you can quest